Another one. Oh shit.
I was just young, bouncing on my money. Such is on the one thing that set you so free. It wasn't no easy thing where I come from. Wasn't no sleep until the world was done. Papa was a pretty man, fly the world. Wanna drink of water, got to go to the well. The corner don't just try to push my soul. The good Lord gave me a little rock and roll.
All right. So actually, I'm at a little. I think I forgot to put in the Instagram thing. Not that big a deal. Let me bring this tab down here. Bring us on stage. Bring us on stage. Should be in there now. How y'all doing out there? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What we got tonight, Mel?
Oh, we're going to have a good time tonight. We have, let me show you my little captions up. It's going to be called Truman Show, World Beyond the Walls. So I saw this video and it just made me go, it went. So I thought I sent it to you, and that was one that we wanted to go through, and we didn't get to go through the other night, but a whole show could be done on it. And once we watch it, I think it'll take an amazing direction, or you'll just be like, okay, it's time to go to bed. Let's So yeah, sometimes we know that movies have different codes or hidden secrets in them, right? And I think that the Truman Show, there's an interesting fact about it, that the Truman Show was written after, it was inspired by the life of Princess Diana, which is something that I didn't know earlier. I was just kind of doing some research to
heard that.
Yeah. And I put that into the bottom of the Truman Show area, the Truman Show file in there. In a bright idea, if you wanted to look at it, there's a link that you can see that shows and talks about that. So I didn't know that, and then it made me kind of even rethink of it a little deeper too, because I had just kind of looked at it from the Matrix perspective or the dome perspective, but I really hadn't looked at it from the celebrity, and at all costs to have the celebrity's life. They'll kill the celebrity so that they can get better ratings, or they'll let things happen to them, in real life reality.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to Princess Diana. She was, she really didn't have a life as the princess, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm interested to look at that document. By the way, I just got the Instagram feeds come up. If you're all getting there later on the Instagram, thanks for coming here. Show number 2 for today. We're ripping, rocking, and rolling. It's cool that Instagram's working again. Shout out to my Instagram friends, X out there, Facebook, Rumble channels. We'll show that in a minute here. But a big concept what Mel's talking about there is like Princess Diana, and I missed parts of what she was saying there, but a big part too is like the loosh too, and also these people are psychopaths. They want the money, and also they're against people that have pure souls, right? People have this pure, good-hearted people. That's especially the ones they're looking for to get the snaky people to sacrifice them. Like Mac Miller's one of these guys. Mac Miller, I heard like a story, like he was on some a little talk show, but it was like a BET type thing, and Snoop Dogg was trying to get him to just be totally misogynist, like saying bitches and all this stuff, and he wouldn't do it, and he was trying to like punk him and stuff. And anyways, long story short, Ariana Ariana Grande sacrificed Mac Miller for her fame or his fame. Mac Miller, I mean Ariana Grande is a
I
male as
have
well.
no idea who these people are. It's kind
That's
of like,
fine.
oh,
The other
okay.
people know. Yeah,
I
so
know. I'm just like,
Mac
oh,
Miller,
yeah.
you weren't in the Telegram with us last night, or maybe you were when I did Mac Miller. He the Donald Trump song. He sings the Donald Trump song, but he's one. Then
Oh,
he's in the Gone with Wind for sure.
okay.
Gone with the Wind. Where was I going? So Deluge though is a big one though. When like JFK, right? It was traumatizing for everyone that was alive during that time. My mom was like in ninth grade, remembers what happened. All the parents, it was so traumatic because people loved JFK so much. Same thing with Princess Di. You said she didn't have the life of a princess, but at the same time, she was doing all these worldly queen-like things, like helping actually children in impoverished places. People truly loved her. And then this sacrifice event, and it's even was on the 13th pillar, by the way. It's like the 13th pillar, and the dates are all important, and all these things. That's also the White Hats would know, when they're going to try to pull some of these things. If anybody's seen that, the car that Diana gets in, by the way, has a different license plate than the one that crashed. I mean, that's just for starters, among just other things like JFK Jr. By the way, JFK Jr.'s tail number N529. JFK's birthday, senior JFK birthday is May 29th. N529. What's the last? JK is the tail number. When that plane crashes, it's retired forever from the FAA, and it's been flying around the last few days. FYI, it flew
Yeah.
from Virginia to Ohio the other day. It flew, and it's QDS is an airport it left from. QDS and the number in the airport.
UDS?
Yeah, and the type of airplane is a 182Q sky plane.
What's 182 in the Q? We're going to
I
go
don't
on
know.
it.
You should look it up. But 18 is
Yeah,
R.
do real quick.
Oh, how about that? 182. There's two 18s. There's two R's. So, anyways, we're
Wow.
going to be talking about some fun stuff. I guess we got technically a Sasquatch red pill in our, this is definitely in that realm for sure. So, thanks for hanging out with us. We got somebody from Mel's YouTube hanging out there too. My Facebook, Rumble, X, Instagram's popping over here on the other side. Good to see y'all over there. I'm glad it's working. It'll be a little bit smaller screen.
If everybody could hit like, that'd be great.
Yes,
It really
please hit
pushes
like,
us
send us out shares. If you guys want to see full screen, if you're on my Instagram, just go in the bio. It's on my Facebook, my X, or Rumble. Definitely stop in our Rumble channel either way. We're trying to help get that thing to grow, and it's been growing pretty rapidly too. So thank you all for helping us with that. Let me show Rumble in case some people still don't even know Rumble. You know what I mean, Mel? Like Rumble is just basically a YouTube alternative. It's a YouTube alternative that doesn't have censorship. So just like going to youtube.com, you go to rumble.com. Go to Rumble and just search Hammer Time. And we search Hammer Time. There's a couple, but we're the really long one here. Hammer Time, Rapid Fire Q News. So it stands out. Here's our logo with the Q patch. So click that one there. So even if no matter what platform you're on, please hop over to our Rumble if you don't mind and give us a follow. Like the live when you hop in there. This is again Hammer Time, Rapid Fire Q News 5.5. 5.5 with an 8 is an 18 again. 18 in there, and so the Q patch. So please follow us there. My X account. I'm curious if you can find me on if you search Undercover White Hat. Let me try that real quick on X because I have that as my name. My @ on there, it's too many letters for a quantum healer. But let me try Undercover White Hat, see what happens. Yeah, okay. So you can even search Undercover White Hat on X, and you will find me because I have that as my name. But the @ is Quantum Healer 17. That's really nice to be able to tell people that. I forget that they gave me the blue check mark. Of course they did. White Hat's in full control. Blue check mark, Undercover White Hat, the one and only. And there's my X account too. So y'all can follow me over there, help that grow. Look, it's already gone up quite a bit just from the other day. I don't post a lot of them there, but always the live streams will be there. And I'll try to pop in there more, especially when we get a little more assistance on the back end. Also, by the way, the creator of QAG, we did a whole show with him recently. Was it a couple months back? But he just did a bunch of updates to QAG. That's where a lot of places where we dig for the Q drops. And he did a show with DC Lidstone. I haven't seen it yet, teaching kind of the new features, but I'm going to see if we can do a 2.0 show with him to cover some of these the new features as well. So make sure y'all follow me, and we'll help you teach you how to do the Q drops and whatnot for all that situation. All right, so
Do you mind just showing them Telegram, Melzie Kaye's Mind and Hammer Time?
Yeah. Okay. Where do I want to show that at? I guess I'll just go in here still. Hang tight, guys. Here, 1 second. 1 second. And then there's the address. Mel, you want to tell them where the address is? I'm bringing this up.
Yep, it's Melzie Kaye's Mind.
And that's Telegram. So the short form of Melzie Kaye's Mind is t.me. And I'll show that here. So when you get into Telegram, this is what her logo looks like. Beautiful Melzie Kaye. Melzie Kaye's Mind. And the address is t.me, Melzie Kaye Mind. So if you put Melzie, I'm guessing it might pop up Melzie Kaye in the search, Melzie Kaye Mind. T.me is the short form for Telegram. Okay, and she's got other research channels here as well, but Melzie K Mind for Telegram.
Yep. And that's the Hammer Time channel too that we have. And there's
Yeah, the
really
Hammer
kind of
Time.
more Q news in there. And Melzie K's Mind has a collaboration. It used to just be me that posted kind of the stuff that I would have on my mind, the quantum physics or whatever I had really going on. But we do have a lot of admins now that are posting great content. And so
Cool.
check them out. Sometimes they have different things. Sometimes we do chats. We used to do them more, but boots on the ground is really kind of where we're going for
Yeah.
up here too, so you can see
Yeah,
it.
if y'all want to hang out with us on the Telegram chats, we do some wild stuff. Really, really brilliant people there, but we do some like impromptu shows. I'm not in there all the time, but when I do, we're doing some big things.
Yep.
Boots on the ground. It's at Boots on the Ground 1111, I think, or so
Oh,
t.me.
you're right. It
Boots on
is,
the
isn't
ground
it?
1111. So that's okay. They can see it down there. So if she's going to update it, t.me/Boots on the Ground 1111, or the same thing there for Telegram. Let's see what else. Oh, but back to real quick the Loosh thing and how they do these sacrifices. Since you brought that up, and then she'll show. I guess we'll look at the document. We're gonna flow again tonight, but I think we got a little more. We're kind of dialed in. We're gonna maybe do a shorter show. Gonna try to keep it maybe an hour, do a part 1 introduction, and hit it again tomorrow,
Yeah.
so that we can do some other things. And then we're gonna try to start doing some day shows. There's so many stuff happening with the Q drops. This is the most important time to be alive. Greatest time to be alive. Most important time to be paying attention, but also
Yeah.
participating. We got to participate. So Tim and I and the other amazing Q School family, Mel, and we got Brian, other autists, and Jade, Rosemary, and Adam, and all these beautiful people. We're gonna help break down the Q posts for you because the whole map is coming together. The Q posts are happening. The Q proofs are happening faster and they're more blatant now. But especially everything that's been talked about is coming right down the pipe, just as it was foretold. Really, we didn't fully understand how this and that, but it all makes sense now. Again, it's called the lead-in. The lead-in will be the 2016 Spygate because it's like it's far enough in the past. People are like kind of like, oh, come on, he's distracting, but like, no, really, the president committed treason with all of his cabinet members, and Hillary Clinton, and plus along with the intelligence agencies. And this is all going to be well documented. They caught them all. It's all going to be declassified. There's no turning away from this. You said nobody's above the law. These people, it's not just like some, well, they kind of did this. Like, no, they committed treason without a doubt. I mean, there's going to be overwhelming evidence. The flood of our generation is the flood of truth. So it's important that we stay on this topic and help people understand that, because it has to be that first. Then the next one will be like the fall of DC. All these people, all the criminals in DC, how they've sold us out. How they've been U.S. aid, right? The Doge stuff. You have something playing in the background there, Mel? The Doge stuff. And then also the 2020 election is going to happen then too. And then all these dots. And then finally, the children, for the public awareness. The children are being protected and saved every single day by a military, but the public has to be ready for it. The public, when everybody's like, come on, arrest people, and they're just sitting on the couch waiting with their feet up, not done nothing yet. Maybe God's calling you to step forward and you haven't accomplished what you're supposed to do. Because honestly, if it hasn't happened and you're connected with this reality, you can never be separate from it, then you're not ready. You're not ready. You think you're ready, but you're obviously not, because if you were ready, it would happen, right? So
I do. I think it's happening.
On the collective level, it is happening. We're
happening.
We're in the middle of it.
We are in the middle of it.
Calling for the arrest of this person. These people are fucking dead. If you don't know that already, then you're also not paying attention. They're not there. Joe Biden doesn't fly on a plane with the Vice President Kamala Harris. Joe Biden doesn't wear these goofy masks. Joe Biden doesn't sign 17 freaking blank executive orders on his first day in office. Like, what are you paying attention to? And arrest somebody. Oh my God, my son. Like, it's ridiculous. Oh my God, the tsunami. Like, what the fuck are you watching out there? It's all been played out in front of us. And if you're complaining about an arrest, you're obviously not paying attention to the plan, and you're obviously not doing something correctly, because we need to be throwing this just nonstop, bringing the truth. It's happening every day. You see it every single day. More people are waking up. Every single day, topics are getting discussed right in the open. Right? They showed organ harvesting on Fox News the other day. They showed, Q's being talked about again on CNN daily. It's like the more they talk about it, how are the people still talking about this so-called person in his basement years after they're not even stopped posting? But here they go, proving themselves more and more and more, and they don't even have to be around. That's how legit it is. They're like, arrest somebody. It's just ridiculous. You have to participate. You want your DoorDash, got your feet up on the couch, and imagine when there's children, they're being rescued every single day. Just even recently, I got a good video of that one too. They just rescued some more recently. It almost seems kind of tied to the Texas thing. They said the group of girls that got flooded out, they actually got them out. I've seen video of that, but then I don't know if this is connected, but a separate one. they rescued a bunch of girls as well too. These young women that were in some sort of human trafficking thing. So, you all right, Mel?
I have a little sore throat, so when I drink sometimes it's like,
Yeah.
hurts my throat.
So anyways, point being is we're going to stick on these
Anyways.
jobs. So we're going to do Truman Show tonight, and then follow one last thing about what Mel was talking about with Diane, Princess Diana. These sick freaks will use that as a ritual in itself. So they ritually sacrifice them. They're going to do their black magic of like their calling in what they want. They can't create that reality. They have to trick us and scare us into creating the reality they want. That's why you need to stop living in fear also, because you're just manifesting the reality these psychopaths want. They're not the elite. They're just wealthy psychopaths. Okay, but then they'll use our loosh. Our loosh is like our energy, our fear energy of all that, so that when we have that trauma and we're so upset that Princess Diana is passed away, they're siphoning all of our energy off that. That's how these people operate. So we need to be aware of that.
Princess Diana died. This is kind of strange. And JFK Jr. In my mind, I said, no, they're not dead. They're actually somewhere else. I created like a different timeline for them.
Oh yeah, well you're in sync with it, because even then you knew they weren't dead. And yet, well, it makes sense to me now. It might be weird to some people. Right. Let's play this video. I got a noisy cat. Let's play this next video. We're gonna play. It's gonna be great. It's about Truman Show, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. Again, we might do a little shorter show tonight, but we're gonna definitely still have a lot of fun doing it. Okay. Thanks, guys, and that's still popping on the Instagram. Appreciate y'all. So without further ado, where's that? I gotta get back to our ABI, and then it's in Truman Show. Okay, I'm back where we were. And here we go. Here we go.
Just in the Truman Show. Number 1. Let's go all the way to the credits for this one to find out that it's co-produced by Richard Luke Rothschild. The Truman Show is a movie made by the Rothschilds family. Number 2. The Masonic Beehive. In the opening scene, Truman is looking into the mirror, and in the bathroom you can see there is a beehive. Now, this specific beehive is the same exact style that the Freemasons have on all of their symbolism. In fact, it's such an important symbol that Brother George Washington's Masonic apron had the beehive symbol at the very top of it. And the meaning of the beehive fits perfectly for Truman, as we see it in the Masonic Encyclopedia here. The bee was among the Egyptians the symbol of an obedient people. And so Freemasonry uses the beehive to symbolize the obedient people. That is, the non-Masons who are obedient to the governments that are run by Freemasons. Number 3. Either the Earth or Moon is classified. About halfway through the movie, it shows the dome-style Earth. The guy picks up a pepperoni pizza slice, and the newspaper says classified. Now, typically it would say classifieds. However, in this case, the S is omitted, and that means that it is not a classified section. It means that the information that they're displaying is classified. There's 2 significant things that are shown here. Number 1 is they are in the moon. This is the HQ inside of the moon. And the second one is that the camera has just panned from the dome-style Earth. So either something about the Earth or the moon is classified. And that leads right into number 4, flat Earth references. The Truman Show is littered with flat Earth references, starting from the very beginning opening scene, which wasn't in the movie, but we can find it in the script. It says, personally, I think the unconquered south face is the only one worth scaling. Of course, it's a 20,000-foot sheer wall of ice, but when did that ever stop me before? So we have unconquered. Humans haven't conquered it yet. It's in the south, and it's a 20,000-foot high sheer wall of ice.
Personally, I think the unconquered south face is the only one worth scaling. It's a 20,000-foot sheer wall of ice, but that's never stopped me before.
The stars are fake or artificial, and there's actually a rip in the dome. Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky, and it's also called Dog Star. But when this star fell in an old trailer, it showed an actual rip in the dome. However, in the actual movie, that's kind of covered up with a lamppost, and the rip is not shown. The Truman Show logo shows a picture of Earth. which doesn't make a lot of sense for the Truman Show itself. You would think that it showed a picture of Truman's town. But the funny thing is, the dome that Truman lives in over there in Hollywood actually pans out and turns into Earth. Right here, it just changes from Truman's dome into the sphere Earth. So it seems that the Truman Show logo itself is showing that this is not a story about one town, it's a story about the Earth. There's a globe in his garden that he later uses to sneak out when he's escaping from the town. Here his friend has moved that globe aside, and he says that Truman's gone. Truman's radio is another sphere Earth. He does have vitamin D, which he needs to take because he's not getting any real sunlight. And as we've just seen, Truman's Earth is an actual flat Earth with a dome over it. And number 5, Truman goes to Antarctica and finds a new world. Truman is leaving in a boat. It's called the Santa Maria. The Santa Maria here is indicative that he's going to a new world. Columbus supposedly, used the Santa Maria when he went to his quote-unquote new world. We know that story's a bunch of nonsense.
Interesting with the Antarctic thing, because supposedly the craft that are crashed down there, the Nina and the Pinta and the Santa Maria, specifically in Antarctica under the ice. So I just got to add that. That's pretty interesting connection there.
But the significance of the Santa Maria here is that Truman is going to a new world. The weather starts out fair, but quickly gets very bad, which is exactly what happens when you sail to Antarctica. In fact, one time Truman falls out of the boat and almost dies. This is like what happened with Shackleton and the very first adventurers who went down to Antarctica. It was one disaster after the next because the weather is so bad. They call it the Roaring 40s, the Furious 50s, and the Shrieking or Screaming 60s. And once you get down to 70 degrees south, things start being not so windy anymore. But the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s are what's depicted here, and Truman's going through them. There's one more very quick hint that he is heading to Antarctica, where we can see that the compass is spinning. This is something that happens when you go close to the South Pole. Your compass will just spin. So in addition to the bad weather, the compass spinning, once Truman finally escapes the storm, he runs smack into an ice wall. And we can argue that it's not ice here, it's sky, but it would be the firmament then. So he's either hit the firmament or he's hit the ice wall. Now the staircase here may be a reference back to the very beginning of the movie, where he was talking about climbing a 20,000 foot unconquered wall of ice. So here he has come to the ice wall, or come to the firmament, and he has to climb up in order to get to the top of it, where he finds the exit. He then exits from the realm, leaves the firmament, and goes to a new world. He takes a bow. It reminded me of this map, where he encountered the ice wall, had to follow it to the right, and then found a exit out of the realm to a new land. Or perhaps it's a little bit closer to this map, which is supposedly a 10,000 year old map made by monks. And we can see that there are lands beyond the realm that we reside in. And we find the very similar ending in C.S. Lewis' book, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. They are taking a boat and sailing away from Earth. There was no need to row, for the current drifted them steadily to the east. None of them slept or ate. And when the third day dawned, with a brightness you or I could not even bear, even if we had dark glasses on, they saw a wonder ahead. It was if a wall stood up between them and the sky, a greenish-gray, trembling, shimmering wall. Then up came the sun, and at first rising, they saw it through the wall, and it turned into wonderful rainbow colors. Then they knew that the wall was really a long, tall wave, a wave endlessly fixed in one place, as you may often see at the edge of a waterfall, and it seemed to be about 30 feet high. But for now they saw something not only behind the wave, but behind the sun. So it seems like the sun here is an illusion. They can see stuff behind the sun. But now they looked at the rising sun and could clearly see things beyond it. What they saw eastward beyond the sun was a range of mountains so high that they never saw the top, and the mountains really must have been outside of the world. For any mountain even a quarter or a 20th of the height ought to have ice and snow on them, but these were warm and green and full of forests and waterfalls however high you looked. No one in the boat doubted that we were seeing beyond the end of the world into Aslan's country.
My friends, we have arrived.
Is this your country?
No, my country lies beyond. But you should know that if you continue, there is no return.
All right. Go here. Where'd it go? What up? What up? What up? There we are. There we are. That was quick. Seemed that was quick 9 minutes, but okay. So, what do you want to talk about on that, Mel?
Well, so what are your thoughts? I guess because I have thoughts, but I'm curious of your thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I think you kind of know how I stand on some of the flat thing. I'm not a big fan of it, honestly. Well, I mean, I am, and I'm open-minded to different perspectives, and also our collective consciousness, and also like the quantum nature of things, and all these different things. There's just so many different things with that particular topic that aren't explained. Is the biggest problem I have on certain things, and a big part of what my purpose is also inner Earth too, and people miss that a lot. So, for instance, like Admiral Byrd gets mixed in this, but he actually left from the North Pole. There's a book in this talk about beyond the North Wind, and if you think about this too, where we're looking at, like, you can look at your reality in one way, or maybe you're looking at it in a mirror. And if we had a toroidal field and you could go into inner Earth, but if you saw everything as through the mirror, as long as you went in, it would continue to be mirrored out. It'd be flat to you if you're looking at the mirror. That might be hard to conceptualize for some of y'all, but I just want to encourage that. Some things I don't understand too. Go ahead.
Okay, have you seen that? So when you look at the Masonic compass, there's a video out there, and that has a disc. So
Oh yeah, okay, and I've seen that a little bit, and then I've seen one where a guy does it by hand, like he does on a whiteboard,
right?
The black sun,
and then you see there's an electromagnetic thing that happens with the sun and the moon, but so the North Pole would be in that center point, in that donut point, right?
Right.
And so that plasmic energy coming up would come from the inner Earth, and if you had a toroidal field with a law of the second law of thermodynamics, when it comes around, you would get a cooling at that point. And so that could form that ice wall around a toroidal field.
Okay. So, and then, and this is very interesting too. And like I said, you can see these concepts, how they play on different ways. So it's almost like a orgone energy, right? Like Earth and stuff. But then that's the flip side. You're talking about like physics, where if like everything's in motion, how is this one body stationary? And then,
well, I don't know. And so
I'm just asking those questions too.
Right. I don't have, like, I'm not a flat earther, and I don't know if it's a round Earth. I believe it's a toroidal.
Nobody knows.
Right. I think it's a toroidal field, but I see, things in a toroidal field that could be flat, like, a sand dollar's flat, right?
Yeah.
And it's also round.
Yeah.
At the same time. And so, but an apple is round like the Earth. And so I just don't know, but I know that Tesla says that we live in a realm. And in the end of this movie, what it says is that he exited, basically, when he got to Antarctica. He went through phases, which would also be explained in the law of thermodynamics around that outer edge, why it became vortexual more.
Yeah.
thermal and cold, and and then they went through a space, and you see that too in the stories of the North, going into the North Pole with that guy that was a fisherman, and his father. I know
Yeah,
was
that's the Smoky God. The Smoky God
yeah.
book is amazing. Yeah.
And so they went through, tumultuous, or what do you call it, tumultuous um,
Journey. The whole thing, right?
waters.
The water. Yeah, to Beyond the North Wind. Is a
Yes,
big yes,
and then
absolutely.
they got to sweet waters. But if you
Mm.
listen to his story, they came out, and I think they didn't go the
Oh, they
same
came
way.
out in Antarctica, and that would make sense because you can
Yeah.
come either way. Because so with that concept too, with it spinning, and it's like in if let's say hyperdimensional physics, right? It's actually an octahedron. When the
Mhm.
octahedron is spinning too, people have shown that like use a big plastic like a volleyball type thing, but a beach ball, but it's plastic, and they
Mhm.
pour water and dirt in there, and they start spinning it, and
Mhm.
everything goes to the outside, and then you also, which would make sense, it's creating its own gravitational field. That's the toroidal field too, as it spins out, the gravitational field pulls everything in, but then also your center of gravity on the inside is outside, right? So it's
Mhm.
flipped, but with that concept, the top and the bottom have like funnel holes, right? The funnel holes are open there because Admiral Byrd, another thing too, is so he went to Operation High Jump when he went down to Antarctica to try to face off against Vril and the Nazi faction who had these anti-gravitic craft. They didn't quite know how to. They learned about which is particle beam weapon, which is Tesla's technology, the particle beam weapon. But the Nazis, since they were channeling this information from off-world entities, according to them, according to the story, is that they didn't know how to perfect the weapon with the craft though, and that's kind of why they weren't so open. And maybe it's a part of the plan to like covertly win the World War II. They were really ones seemed to win it, but that so they finally perfected the technology after World War II where they could have the anti-gravitic craft and fire these particle weapons. So that's when Admiral Byrd went down there with a fleet, and then these saucer craft came out of the ice and then started sinking their fleet and armada like with frightening speed, so they had to retreat. Even, and this is supposedly the way the story goes, even like this also is I can't remember which one was first, if it was the high jump thing, or I think it was that. No, this is the order it went, is when the UFOs on the White House lawn, I think it's 1955 or so. Dan Aykroyd talks about this kind of, but anybody's want to look that up.
Real quick.
Was that
Dozer's crying. Just I'll be right back.
okay? Okay.
And
So anybody looks this up. There's UFOs on the over the White House in the 1950s, like 1955, I feel like something like that. And what that was about was them trying to show like their strength. Okay, so Eisenhower was in the White House before JFK, so I guess he wouldn't be 55, would he? Maybe he would. Yeah, 55, maybe Eisenhower. If we got any diggers out there, want to check that. But also, Eisenhower gave his military-industrial complex speech on January 17th, 1961. Double 17. January 17th, 1961. 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 1, 17. So he seemed to be putting in a lot of these measures in place, like seeing what was coming. He supposedly is the one that had this meeting with these Greys, and they was like this some sort of a deal to like give us technology, but they were allowed to abduct X amount of citizens, world citizens or American citizens, but they're supposed to tell us who exactly they were like abducting, and they weren't supposed to harm them anyway. Anytime you're doing deals with sketchy, shady people, they of course didn't honor that, and they were taking more people. This other stuff, again, some of the stuff's all difficult to verify, but Eisenhower. The point being is then was like this knowing about this Nazi faction. Even if most people don't know this too. Eisenhower wanted to find out what's going on Area 51, and then they said he didn't have clearance for that. He's like, "What do you mean? I'm the president of the United States." So Eisenhower threatened to invade Area 51 with like the 151st Airborne or whatever the number was, and then that's kind of where then this deal happened. But there was still this like contention back and forth, and I wish I knew the order of the timeline right now. But they show up on the White House lawn to essentially threaten them, and they said, "F you, I'm not going to listen." And basically said, "You're going to do you're going to do what we tell you to." Us being America, we just won World War II. We think we're the world superpower. So Eisenhower says, "F you, we're going to see about that." He sends Admiral Byrd down to Antarctica on Operation High Jump, and that's when they get this massive. They get blown to smithereens, and they have to retreat and turn around. So Admiral Byrd's giving an interview in South America, the very bottom tip there, Chile and I guess it's Chile and Argentina. Argentina comes all the way down almost to Antarctica. and he's doing an interview there, and he's like, we need to be mindful of these new like craft. He says new craft that can fly from pole to pole. So he says the word pole to pole, which in a flat model you could have a north pole and a south pole of like electricals, right? So but he says pole to pole, and then he's talking about land beyond the poles. He says the word beyond the poles. And again, his diary is talking about they leave from Iceland to the point, and then same scenario there. He flying at 1,000 feet altitude, and as you wouldn't even know, people are always like, how come they never change the direction on the yoke? It's like you set an altimeter, that's what you do, and it's literally inches over miles. You don't notice that. So, anyways, he flies and flies, and all of a sudden the ice disappears. And there's old maps like this too. There's even maps, of course, even of Antarctica, the Perry Reese maps. Perry Reese are 500-year-old maps. They show Antarctica like the exact landmass with no ice. How did they know that? And it's like accurate too, because we can look with our radar equipment, see through the ice where the actual land of Antarctica is. This map was showing land of Antarctica with no ice. So what does that mean also? Like, how does that factor into everything? So it's just a really cool topic. You know what I mean? I'm always skeptical, but I'm open-minded. I'm always open-minded for information. The biggest problem, again, with that topic specifically, which is mind-boggling to me, how many anons, truthers latch onto it, and there's just missing parts. So like Mel was talking about this black hole sun. I've seen this guy draw it. One guy draws a video. He's supposedly a Mason, doesn't explain anything. He's just drawing it. It's interesting. It's certainly interesting. I saw a really cool model too, Mel, with like, you're muted by the way, is with like organite. It almost looked like organite, and they were showing it like a light shining through there, and it kind of made a lot of sense. And then they were like, oh, see, boom, there's your eclipse. And then they like stopped the video. It's like, well, that's one eclipse. You could say if you have this local sun and moon, okay, maybe you have a solar eclipse where the moon is in front of the sun between us. But every single time, 2 weeks later, then there's a lunar eclipse. And I mean, flat earthers don't even attempt that. They don't even like, what's the idea there? How come the sun, if it's local, how come it doesn't affect the tides? And also like, if it goes perspective where it goes away, then it would shrink, but you never see the sun shrink. The sun is always the same size, 24/7. It always goes below the horizon. So I'm not trashing anything. I'm just throwing things out there to challenge people. You know, some people don't like that, but it's like, just answer those questions. Like you have to ask those questions if you want the truth, because that's what a truth seeker is about too, right? Mel, you have to ask the alternative of like what your beliefs are. Let's say you believe in God. If you don't believe, if you don't test out the other, like if there is no God, how can you be sure of God if you don't look at the alternative? That's just how I am on everything. So I'm open-minded to it could be, again, something beyond our comprehension or multiple perspectives. I just
Going back again to what does Tesla mean when he's saying it's a realm? And he says the sun and the moon are like a Tesla, like the earth is like a Tesla coil. And so
yeah,
what
it
is he
makes sense.
saying there, right?
Yeah.
And going back to what I believe the tree of life is, the Tesla coil. And so if the earth is a Tesla coil and the sun and the moon are electromagnetically moving,
And we've
and
seen ancient drawings
then
kind of showing that, you know.
right, and the black hole sun, what does that mean? You know, I don't really have, like I said, I'm not a flat earther. I don't know if the world's round. I have no idea. I mean, and I
You've
love
always been
this
open
kind of
to
stuff.
it. Like I don't want to say siding with it, but you've always been explored it. And not that I
I've
don't explore
explored
it.
it,
You've
and
been,
so because I wanted, I'm inquisitive about it,
yeah,
and um, things to me don't add up with the round Earth.
right. There's definitely some
So,
discrepancies. The moon, all the moon stuff, all the NASA bullshit, all the faking of all
and
the
yet
things they do.
there are things like, I mean, everything is in a toroidal field. But like I said, again, there are things that are created that are not round that are in a toroidal field. Like a tree is a toroidal field, that grows in a toroidal field, even though it's not around, like it goes out, right? It branches out. And like sand dollar is also in a toroidal field, but it's round and it's flat. So earth can do, or like creation can do that, nature can do that, right?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't want to make it
So
full.
things, I mean, like I don't want to get controversial, but there
Why
was
not?
a lot of things that talked about in there, that why are they showing us this, right? And that for me, another thing that I thought was interesting was he was leaving, like, he
Uh-huh.
was willing to leave his fears, right?
Right. It's like awakening too,
It
right?
is. So he was like,
Metaphor.
well, there's a star that fell down, and whether or not that's true or not, we don't even understand that clock that happens up there. The Polaris,
God's perfect design.
right? We just don't understand it. And so it's something to explore. And this had a lot of things that for me went, wow, that's
Yeah,
kind
make
of,
you question. And that's kind of, I guess I want to add this to kind of come more to this conclusion. I saw a really good explanation that explained the earth recently, and it kind of covered both. I wish I remember where I found it. I have to try to look for it. The other one too, I kind of, the concept, well, you look at our words too, where words comes from create our reality. So like firmament comes from like famiri. I think you go bit farther back with the word, it kind of actually means expanse. I almost think Tesla's saying that firmament is in like electrical sense. A firmament is like a connection, right? So,
maybe that's what,
in my opinion, is like you're actually breaking free of that limiting thing of all of it, right? The firmament, and that's where I feel somewhat that the idea of the flat Earth is making us just like kind of religions seek outside of ourselves. We're seeking these lands outside when there's all this beauty inside, right? We're never looking inside because we think we're stuck in this dome, which is not saying that's not in some form like that. I mean, I've had some different weird cases where I was like, am I in the Truman Show? One was long time ago where we were doing some different psychedelics. I guess we'll admit it once on salvia. It was super weird. I really thought it was on the
so
Truman
then
Show.
so maybe we are because we live in a holographic universe.
Well, right, and that's what I was gonna say is the firmament would maybe be us like breaking out of the matrix, right? The firmament is like this simulation that we feel like we're stuck in. But I feel like if we think we're stuck in this bubble, then we're actually stuck in it. But we can actually go beyond it. But that's like breaking through it, right?
So that ties into kind of like Ashiana Dean's work, if you know her work.
I've heard of her a lot, and I don't know maybe what her
I have a
specifics are. But
really quick little video that
yeah,
I love, and I think you'll love too.
yeah, and just like to tie into some of these other things too for anybody. Some of the things I questioned, and if I hope you all still don't get triggered or back out. Like we want to challenge different thinking, and I'm open minded. This I'm also like I want people to try to like prove me wrong or come back because I have legitimate questions. As just both my parents were forensic scientists. Straight point. Both Melzie and I guess we were valedictorians. You know what I was thinking, Mel? That never came up in any of our conversations over the years. Probably because we didn't really care. I
No,
just got A's because I knew I was supposed to, but I didn't really care about it. It wasn't like a big, and not that I would turn things down. I was appreciative, but I was like, okay, honor roll. Like it was like no big deal to me. I think I just already knew school was whack, before I really could put words in it, later on, because that was a big shift for me when I was going to college. It was just like what you're supposed to do, right? You go to college. I went into engineering because I was good in math and science, and I just hated it so much. And both my parents are college educated, forensic scientists, save money, work hard. It's like it's what the thing you're supposed to do. And I was like, I felt this pressure on me. I just like hated it so bad. I did not like what I was learning. It felt so dreadful. And I was like wanting to like, quit. And then my parents were like pushing, oh, keep going, keep going. And that was like such a breakthrough day where I just said, fuck that, bro. I am not going back another day. This is stupid. And I finally made that decision. It was like this huge weight just came off my shoulders. I was like, that felt so nice to do that. Now, granted, I made not the best decisions in life. Everything's done in divine timing and in perfect order. But I could have been way more ahead if I had more discipline. But I wouldn't have learned the things I did, and we all have our unique journeys. But that was a major awakening for me. Was just shifting out of that, of like getting out of that school concept. So I just went a little off track there with you. My learning being that I was always looking for the truth, though, from a
Me
forensic
too.
standpoint, asking questions, looking at both sides, open minded. So I'm open minded. Like Adam Charles Branch is a brilliant kid, and he's hard line on the like flat Earth stuff. But he also listens to me when he has questions, and I'll say things. So I'm always listening. He talks about like firmaments mentioned 17 times in the Bible. That's certainly interesting. I'm not a big fan of the English version of the Bible, but I wasn't raised with it, so I try to learn everything I can about different religions and different sacred texts. You know what I mean? The other thing too is some of them are just so basic. Oh, one more ad though too, like the space stuff or like NASA can be fake and gay doesn't mean space is either, right? Like if they're getting a bunch of money, why go up there if we know? Well, like let's say they tried to go there and then they were told they couldn't go back, like the moon or something, if that was because that's how some stories say it went, makes sense to me also. If they told they weren't going to go back, but they're supposed to be our NASA people, why would you waste all that money when you could just fake it and then they funnel that money into their black budget projects? So there's also double answers there. So I just encourage anyone, and the problem with the flat earth, once they get convinced on it, you have that confirmation bias and you're trying to make everything else fit into it. Where if you say it from an open-minded perspective and not immediately fitting everything in there, some things just don't make any sense. Like here's one more basic one that's always confused me, Mel, this ice wall thing, right? So first off, now and then this video, he says 20,000 foot ice wall. If there's a 20,000 foot ice wall and the earth is flat, you can see that from anywhere. You can get up on a mountain, get a telescope, and you'd see the 20,000 foot ice wall, but nobody's done that. So that doesn't make sense to me. Okay, now the other part is if it's the ice wall you can't get over, there's one with a helicopter flying.
Antarctica, more like a donut.
Then that's the toroidal field thing. So Antarctica is like the second largest continent on Earth, and second to like the Asia continent, which has Russia. Russia has 12 freaking time zones. So there's this clip of a helicopter. For one, you're in a helicopter, fly over it. Like, sorry, I'm a little passionate about some of these things because it's like you're like, oh, the ice wall. It's like it's fucking 2025. Fly over it, crash into the end, and then be famous forever. You know what I mean? Those are just some stuff that I have a little contention with.
Well, you can't just go fly down there.
But okay, but the point being is there's we have this video, and it's one, just like I'm saying, we can't even know these tsunamis are here.
Well, I wouldn't trust any of those videos, but I'm just saying,
sure.
We can't trust any visual things because of AI and development.
I know. And I've never believed anything I see on any of this stuff. I always had that, like I'm so far jaded on the other side, like I don't believe anything we see at all. But okay, let me just tone it down. The point being is you see the helicopter flying. Why couldn't the helicopter fly over it? And or this wall, Antarctica is so big, that helicopter would be flying at 100 miles an hour for 5 hours, and it would be on a tiny little blip of the full length of Antarctica. It's like you're talking about if even it went 500 miles. But we know there's places like that people go. There's webcams there. And again, maybe can't, but there are projects that go out there, and so. Anyways, the point being is I encourage everyone to ask some more questions. There seems to be land beyond, whether it's beyond a flat earth or it's outer in a different dimension. There's definitely other land there. The last thing I'd say is if we're in this dome and there's this land beyond and it's supposed to separate the waters, how are those land? How are they not underwater? Wouldn't they be out there under the water? That makes no sense to me, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So what you got for us, Mel?
I have that little video of Oceana Dean in there.
Where you got it? You put in Kyle?
In your Kyle file, and I have something really kind of fun too for you. You're going to love this too.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it in the Kyle file real quick, and then you'll see it. So pull up Oceana Dean, and then I'll drop the bottom thing in there.
Let's make this big. Let's make this one big.
So this is some money that I found. You know, like I was.
Cool. Wow.
Isn't this cool? And look at right there.
Oh, look at that.
What's that?
Let's play this video. We'll go back to those images. I'm excited.
The yin-yang flow, which is a mutation of the yan-yun natural flow, is not a natural configuration. It is a configuration of energy formed by the tube torus that is part of the Metatronic Beast technology. The tube torus technology creates an energy sucking machine that has these vortices that suck energy in from other living things around it in order to fuel itself, because it is not open to the natural timelines anymore. It can't run the natural energy, so it finds things to feed on. It's the vampiring technology. And that is what the Beast machine has been progressively built on. So the Van Allen belts are actually holding this in. This is called the poison apple magnetic field configuration, and it's very different than the natural one of the yan-yun flows that come from the seed atom. The natural seed atom would be shaped like butterflies. They have a rod current that runs, so they look more like a butterfly current. These block the rod because the rod has been hijacked.
Okay, so that's an interesting one. So that whole concept's interesting to me just in general. The idea of, because some of this stuff you get in this really, like you're talking about.
Can you pull that diagram up just again?
12th dimensional physics. Yeah.
Because I want to talk about it. I just want to show it as a diagram. So if you look at like how the moon is and how the moon sits, this is how it should be here, right? But the moon.
What do you mean it should be? Hold on, stop. I don't know where the moon is, Mel. I don't know what.
If we were looking at the Earth, the Earth is on a tilt. It has a wobble, right?
Okay, yep. And are you looking at the right image or left right now?
she's showing on the right side
Okay.
is the image of how it's the yin yang.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
yin yang is like the cycle of death, the apple of death. Okay, the 432, the cycle, the daisy of death. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What?
Okay, so
Uh,
Tranquil Melchizedek, his work, his first book was about the Merkaba, and the second one was about the heart field and how the heart creates a vortexual, um, every time it beats,
Royal
it creates
Field.
a
Right.
vortexual toroidal field of 528. So this staff and rod, which she's saying here, is if we had that, and she calls it the yun and yan, I think, flow,
Uh
and the
huh.
seed apple. Like think of God's plasmic breath of life, okay, going in and out, breathing in and out. Then that would not be a vampire energy system like the 432, which is the daisy of death. And it's kind of a complicated
Yeah,
subject,
if we can get
but
those, I'd like to show those like not logos, but the symbols. So essentially, like again, the Metatron's
okay.
cube, or so they're saying one is
Yes.
the incorrect because it's closed looped. I almost still think it's like it needs to be a little bit of both. Just like you have the darkness, you have the void, and then you have the infinite. And so some of this too, it gets complicated. You're talking about high dimensional physics, like 12th dimensional conversations can get confusing. Sometimes you're like, well, what if they're just inverting that on us? And like, if it confuses me, am I supposed to know it, or is it confusing because I
Okay,
need to
so
take
this
in
is
more
how I think.
information?
This realm functions differently than the realm of heaven. Okay.
But
Than the
how can heaven be something separate from us? I don't understand that.
when people well, when they die, my daughter had a near death experience and she went someplace. Okay.
Yeah.
And when she went there, she saw things and physics were different. Things she saw were different, right? And so um there are different dimensions, I believe, different realms. What are I don't know that I believe that this realm that we're in is the way it's supposed to function. And with
Yeah.
Asha Nadine's work, kind of what she's explaining is that the high angelics, you know, God's angels, they knew God's Merkaba, his sacred Merkaba. And if you look in your folder, there's some stuff in there too with the black hole, and there's some Merkaba stuff in there too that you can show what we're talking about. Maybe pull up a Merkaba because maybe not
Where did
everybody
you
knows.
put it? Because I'm not seeing it.
Maybe
Where
I
you
put
put
it.
Asha Dean, I think maybe you have it in there. I think that's in there. I had a thought. Let me think what my thought
Yeah, look
was.
in the Truman Show. I put in the Black Rock, and then there's also the
Don't put
Sacred
it in the Truman
Geometry.
Show because that's on me all the way at the bottom. Put it in Kyle if you want me to watch. If you want me
All
to
right,
show something
let me
right
put
now.
it in Kyle.
And then I'm gonna show those other little images, little objects you put up on there just a minute ago that we had. I guess stop sharing so much.
Yeah. So I think that this is kind of interesting because I always put like hidden stuff on money, and I just so happen to find this at like a coin shop, and I
Whose
was
money
like,
is this? Oh, you found the money? This
Antarctica.
is your pictures?
This is my money. I got a $2 bill from Antarctica.
But Antarctica is not a country, though. I don't understand. Is it just
It
fake
has
money?
its own money. No, it's real money.
What?
Hmm.
Get out of here. Somebody on the Rumbles doing digs. Give me some information about this Antarctica money. I
When
gotta
you
know.
come, I'll show
Follow
it
the
to you.
money. No, but I want the diggers to share. Like they might find something. I've never heard this. But go ahead, explain it to me. Britain, of
And
course, is great.
I just think it's interesting if you look at what's on there. There's a whole bunch of stuff I'm sure that everybody could dig on. Because look at this. Look at this right here. Do you see it in the upper left above my name? That looks like it's flat. Oh,
Up above your name. I don't see your
okay. Where it
name.
says two, and then right next to the two, it looks like a flat Antarctica. Can you zoom in on that spot right there?
This I see. Oh, this two right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, right here. That's um
Huh.
this right here.
Yep.
But I disagree with that then because you see the tail tip of Argentina here, which disappears. because it goes around the corner, and then here's, I guess, Australia or New Zealand, whichever, and then so it's Antarctica from the bottom on this is
Yeah,
what this view is. But yeah, I mean it's a flat cross
it's a
section of
flat
it,
one.
But if it was, anyways. So let me see
Anyways,
the timeline. No, it's cool though. I mean, and like I said, this one, the toroidal field's showing it right here.
yeah.
Um, and let's see, even like saying the beast system, like I don't know exactly what they're talking about. I've heard some of that too, like implants and things like this. And it's like, again, you're talking about high dimensional, like
It's
spiritual
high
beings.
dimensional stuff. It is like,
Yeah.
and, I don't know if it's real or not, but her work really makes sense to me in a lot of ways.
Ashiana Dean.
Ashiana Dean.
What does she say about like the Earth specifically? Then, do you know?
Well, so
Because she's
going
like an
back,
SSP person, isn't she? She talks about all that, the galactics.
so
But I mean, is they interdimensional, or what's her stance? Maybe I
I
don't know.
think that we live in like a black hole.
Hmm, that's interesting.
hmm
There's some people too, like the convex or concave Earth. That thing's a trip too, where like that's again the mirror concept, where it's like it's actually totally inverse. It's hard to conceptualize some of that. That's where again I think maybe if we're looking at one way, we might be looking at the mirror.
And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but let's
Well,
look at this here.
that itself is important too. That like Adam always says that too. Is like, and I could be wrong. Like the for our ascension, being open minded to new possibilities or being wrong is more important than anything. If you get so locked in on one thing, like I say, let's say I just see it a lot in particular with the flat model people, is they're like so adamant and set on that, then it's like everything is filtered through there. Where that's what I mean. Like I've done hours and hours and hours of research on both sides. I watch more flat earth videos than flat earthers, you know what I mean? Like trying to see what's what. But the point is like it might be beyond our comprehension. That's going to help your ascension by not being, that's an attachment. And, if you are so set on a belief system, that's an attachment. The more attachments you have, the more you're restricting yourself for expansion. Right. So it's just important to be more open-minded that and being wrong. Like, no, that's so important. Like we have this weird, again, it kind of goes with this program we had where you can't fail. You're not supposed to fail, or you got to be perfect and all this crap. It's like, it's okay to be wrong and then admit it too. And like, this is my theory, but I could be wrong. But when you get adamantly set on something, then you get these confirmation bias and stuff. This is kind of cool. The spinning Merkaba field. That's just a screenshot there. So you got a YouTube video, I guess, for us. You want me to click that one?
Yeah.
Oh, here's some of the logos. Okay, so this is, again, there's no such thing as what do they call this, the Jewish star. What's the name they use? The David Star,
This is the Star of David, so it's the
which has never
Merkaba.
been really called that, right? It's so that's where it's tricky. They take ins and out things. So the Merkaba is like our supposed our light body field. It's fourth dimensional spinning object. You got the masculine and the feminine, intertwined with it. And this is kind of like maybe what the shape of the Earth would be set up against a dodecahedron, which a dodecahedron, I think there's more pieces and then it still spins. But now the black cube is in the middle of this. And then this is kind of their logos. This they worship, which, by the way, this goes back to the electrostatic Earth model, or the space. Again, the space is not a vacuum. That's their part. That's totally bogus. Is there's electrostatic current everywhere. So whether you think it's interdimensional or not, and that's how the portals work too. Mel, you were saying the firmament, how they're connected. That's what the high level insiders are saying. The portals work is there's this electrical charge between all the bodies, which would totally line up with what Tesla's saying, because they're all Tesla coils, so that the planets are connected to each other. That's also how we're anchored to the sun and we rotate. And then there's also the great central sun that we're going around, according that model, which makes the most sense to me so far. But anyways, when the planets rotate, it's like a shock. Like once they get to a certain point, this electric current goes through, and that's like the natural portal. If you're at that spot at that exact moment, you can portal from one place to another immediately. And that's the natural portals that we have in the world. But we also then create artificial portals now too. But the other one, the electrostatic model, is again that the universe is full of a static electrical charge. And supposedly Saturn was our old sun. The Saturn was the old sun before the last solar flash. Again, everything's cyclical. Nothing on the sun is created as new. Everything, civilizations rise and fall. So the last sun was supposedly Saturn. I don't know how this all works. This is super high level stuff. Maybe we can't conceptualize it completely in like a 3D model. But the solar flash happened, and then so Saturn was the old sun. And now, if you look at satellite imagery, which again, can we trust it? But also there are people with super strong telescopes that can see a lot of these bodies. That's another issue I have. But Saturn, if you look at it on the top, it has a hexagonal shape of on the top, and even like David Wilcock's done some really good
Mhm.
takes on this. Is like he says it's like a gravitational field that's moving in this hexagonal shape, and then it would basically be some kind of portal that you get sucked into. But either way, the Cabal Illuminati types worship this black cube situation, right? And that's also they put it right in our face. That was like the George Floyd incident, and they all had everybody post their black square. The black it was an homage to the Saturn people who performed the psyop. Then we also get the same thing here with the Mecca and the people. Is this? This might sound ignorant. Is this Jewish people that come to this, or is this Muslim? This is Muslim, right?
This is Muslim.
Muslim. Okay, and then they walk in one direction. It seems to be maybe the wrong direction. I don't have to say right and wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're going the way they probably shouldn't be. They're basically creating a field themselves, kind of. And again, the
Mhm.
inverse, the suction. They're again, we're all Tesla coils ourselves. We're all toroidal fields, and then they have their emotional charge, and this is their spiritual connection. But then they're actually performing this ritual unbeknownst to them, right? So then they're kissing the black cube, and supposedly it's like a meteorite. Again, then flat earthers say it can't be a meteorite because it can't come from outer space. So then there's all this. It's just difficult to piece this all together. But
What
we
if
love
it's a
talking
magnet?
magnet for
Okay,
sure.
so
It
listen.
must be.
Okay, so I'll show you. So if you have an owl, then you would have like the toroidal field. But if you have just a black, I don't know. Okay, so
You got one
look,
of
go
those?
down there to that purple one. Actually shows the there it is. So that's what but except they spin like this.
Hold on, I can't see. Hold on.
So
How
the
like
top
this
one,
one?
see the top one's spinning and the bottom one's spinning in a different direction.
Yeah, and now I've even heard more recently. This kind of makes sense. It's like so you have one like this, but the other one's actually like this one, like sideways, actually like that. I always thought it was like this, which how we see it, but even like that's like the most basic conceptualization. From other higher beings I've been learning from, is that the Hebrew alphabet, the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, is actually capturing our Merkaba light field, which is a fourth dimensional body, which is hyperdimensional physics in movement, and they catch the shadows on it. There's 22 different shadows of like it's a two-dimensional capturing of the third dimensional shadow of, and that's the Hebrew alphabet is the light body capturings of this
Like
uh
that?
yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
can you zoom in a little bit.
Yeah. So what he's saying is it's really interesting. Like I
Oh
used to
wow,
have
I've never seen it like that with the Merkaba thing there too. Wow, yeah, go explain that a little bit more if you can zoom
So
in at
I
all.
used to have a model that would show this, and it would, if you want to show me. So each time, if you can zoom in, you'll see it a little bit better. Each
It's
time,
your screen. It's your screen, Mel. I can't zoom in on you.
oh shoot.
If you
Well,
want to just send that to
it's
me.
in your Kaya folder.
Okay,
Do you want to
okay.
pull it
Then
up?
yeah, then take yours down and I got it. Um, I didn't
I
see that
used to
one.
have a
Oh, here it is.
better
Here
one.
we go. Here we go. Okay. There we go. That better, right? This is crazy. It actually shows it. Like, look at the part of the Merkaba. I can't believe. Where'd you find this? This is so interesting.
Because I've known this for a long. I taught
this,
this
is,
for a
this
long
is what
time.
we do. We got autism. You
And
taught it even. Oh, I'm not sharing my
Mhm.
screen. Dang, I'm right. I'm all zoomed in, all in it. You all
Okay,
even seen it.
so I used to have a diagram that would actually show the Merkaba, and it was like a video.
What?
Yes, and so it would show each move, and it made the letters. I've searched and searched and searched for it, but I can't find it no more. So maybe we can make AI do it.
Yeah.
If someone knows how to do that, oh my gosh, have them do this. We need to get.
Yeah. And look at we got the graphics right here, so then it turns and it shows it because I can't
Yeah.
understand it until you guys
Okay,
see it.
so remember the Merkaba? Let's say we have that star, and if this is a 2D image of it, but if you had
Right.
if you spun like it does in its field and you took a picture every 10 degrees, that's what you're seeing
10
here
degrees.
is
Okay.
the alphabet. So then if you took a 2D picture of it, the way that it moves, it would create the Hebrew alphabet. And so the Hebrew alphabet is a language of frequency of the toroidal
Right,
field.
right. Hebrew alphabet, and so yeah, and then that's the frequency too, right? That's why these older languages have it's like so much connection there. So some of the comments here she shares much. The Earth is tilted because it was being pulled into the black hole. That's interesting. It was stopped. Thank you, Hayner, C.R. Hayner, and then Jedi Knickknack Dylan Lewis Monroe. That's the Deep State Mapping Project. Has amazing maps of the extra Terra's Terra's land beyond the ice wall. Really interesting because again, Deep State Mapping Project has tons of all the secret space program stuff. So interesting to show the maps. Again, it's I guess these maps that are stated. I still have that question: is like where these maps come from, and then what physics are there? What sun is by those planets? What's the physics controlling them? Why aren't they affecting ours? Right? And if they're outside the wall of the firmament, why aren't they underwater? Thank you for that dig, though, Jedi. And then love her work. That's C.R. Hayner says must have been talking about Ashina Dean, I'm guessing. And then Eisenhower was president from 1953 to 1961. Thank you guys for that dig. I needed that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 50. If y'all want to dig that too, when was the UFOs over the White House? The UFOs over the White House. And I think that was 55 maybe, but we double check. And then maybe if you look that up while you're doing it, what year was the UFOs of the White House? Oh, Apex is in Instagram too. And what year was the Operation High Jump?
And then, I
Oh,
don't
people
know
aren't
if you know
seeing it.
this, but I
Oh,
have a
shit.
good video right after this with Michael Tellinger about the power of vowels. But we've talked about this before, but you don't ever remember. My
Don't say it ever,
It's
but
okay.
generally.
But well, you don't, but you do, and then you go, oh yeah, but then it's always kind of like, oh, but because my mom's uncle served under Admiral Byrd.
Oh my God, dude, that's so
See,
crazy.
it's
Mom's uncle, mom's
like
uncle.
you have
Every
it's like you have Alzheimer's
well, this I think it's a divine timing thing
for
too. It's
that thing.
interesting.
Because I tell
What's
you that
really
all the
interesting,
time, but you don't remember, but it's
I know,
okay.
and each time it's because I'm digging or something, but
It's
it's
like you
all in
get
divine timing.
distracted and it never gets. But
Well,
so it's really,
we're
but
doing
listen
two
though,
different
it's really
things at once.
important because my mom said that my uncle went and he never came back the same. And so my
Wait, went
ex
where to Antarctica or where?
article, he went on Project High Jump and
Oh shit, he was on high jump. Of course
he
he
was
would.
on
Of course,
High
when
Jump.
there's secret space programs and
Yes. And anyways, so how come we're on there twice? That's weird.
I want to
Oh,
show the
I'm
comments.
on it
People
live.
doing good digs. So look at it. So let me just cover these comments from Instagram. Thank you guys. Oh, bring us down. Let's go just full screen just for a second.
Thank you.
Charlie, she's I love her too. Charlie Mustangs with a large magnet rock in the center of the islands of
Yes.
Antarctica.
Yes.
And
See?
that's some other people talking about Corey Good things. This where there seems to be a pole flip because there's supposedly pyramids that are like 1 billion years old under the ice in Antarctica, which they're going to be exposed soon as it keeps melting. But there's also palm trees and stuff, lots of palms, like a paradise type area because it makes sense if the poles flipped those areas and they supposedly got flash frozen. Okay, astral travels. Okay, I'm not sure that Apex. He's doing some good digs here. So let's see what he got. I'm not sure why it's not scrolling. There it goes. Okay, I saw our universe and dark masses covering everything almost like a filter. These guys might be talking about astral travel stuff. Okay, here's a dig though. While there are some Antarctic dollars or Antarctican dollars that can be purchased as souvenirs, these are not legal tender, cannot be used for transactions anywhere. Thank you, Apex. That makes sense too, because it didn't make sense that I understand there's the treaty, but why would, and then if they had their own money, I was interested in it, but that makes more sense to me. Thank you, Apex, on that dig. He does some great digs here. All this information is put out there right in our faces as mockery to the dumb masses by don't call them elites. They're wealthy psychopaths. They're not fucking elites. I'm open-minded to any theories that provide mathematical and scientific supporting research. Who ya on that? Let's see. 1946 to 47, officially called the United States Navy Antarctic Development Program, code name Operation High Jump, led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd, my grandfather, Melzie's uncle's partner. And then these people I met in Mount Shasta, Mel, my crazy connection with Mount Shasta, they're a good friend, or they're not their good friend. They randomly met him at, like, I don't want to say a bar, but they were like in town. This guy was like, I don't know if he's reincarnated, but he basically said he was Admiral Byrd's right-hand man, like maybe even the guy that flew with him on the diary. And Mel and I,
Well,
especially if you're, where did our
I
Sasquatch
mean,
red
you,
go?
I, where'd it go? What?
Don't worry,
Your
don't make me distract
logo?
you. Don't make me distract you. I'm putting them up there because it'd be so perfect to do this topic on the. I wanted Mel and I still might want to do is the Admiral Byrd diary, where he flies to
Oh, there he is.
some unknown
Yes,
location.
because I
Want to
don't know
reenact
why,
it.
but I feel connected to Admiral Byrd, and I did before. Like I knew that my uncle like served under him, so it was really weird because I don't know. There's some things you don't know why, right? There's a
Yeah,
connection, like
yeah.
maybe who knows, but I think that you and I are probably went through the secret space
Yeah.
program or something.
I think Mel and I might be like twin brother
Right.
sister super soldiers, even different ages or timelines, if you will. It gets complicated, but we've had plenty of unlocks for this kind of situation. And then also like operational security, like when we finally figured out, then it's like okay to be shared. So I've been more comfortable sharing things that might. And then also it's so out there that I play the wild card too. That's like yeah, maybe that's not real, or is it crazy? It's almost so crazy, like how Mark Twain say it. Truth is stranger than fiction because like fiction has to stick to the realm of possibilities. Truth doesn't, So here's an
Well,
interesting connection.
it there are like, and there's things I question in my life. Like I saw a UFO at 21 or 2, and I saw like the mothership, in Venezuela, and my best friend married an ambassador's son. That's kind of like not normal. And then I was with the elite, and so I have to kind of look at, um, things in my life that added up.
Yeah, it
And
all adds up when you follow those things. Right? Again, here's some common ones too for anybody in like, let's say the special programs. The special access program is very empathic, very intuitive. Um, German blood is a common one. German or Nordic blood doesn't have to be. Family members that were in top secret projects or big corporations. Coming from a broken family again doesn't have to be, but they prefer that, because if they can have people that have all these skills and assets, but also parents aren't asking too many questions, they can keep taking them for training. And then I don't understand how that works on one timeline. Maybe they're actually taken and then they put us back in the timeline and it gets super complicated, but all those things are kind of common. And there's another one too, being visited.
control magnetism, 0 point energy can control time. And then they can wipe us too. Like I've had a
Blank slate.
psychological block. So when I saw the UFO, I have missing time. So when I saw it, it was like I was like, oh my god. And then that's kind of when I don't have any more memory. And then the next thing I remember is being woke up by the military police on yeah,
On the beach or something, was it
on the
too? Or I don't
beach.
know if you want to
And
share
so
on that.
that's not normal either, right?
Yeah.
No.
And I don't know if I really shared this too. I had like about like 3 different UFO type encounters in a short period of time meeting when I was living with another person a while back. Is that there was this craft up over the lake, but what we were driving in the middle of the night one time. I was driving in the middle of the night like 80 miles an hour as long. I was going from Nevada all the way to Utah Arizona border. The out so just driving in the middle of nowhere. It was probably near the extraterrestrial highway. I was going around a windmill area. They're all attracted to these energy fields. And these 2 lights came up on me like this, like flying in. I thought it was like a truck was coming up behind me, like a big semi, but it almost seemed like all of its lights were off. But I thought it had 2 lights up on like its smokestack or something. But it was also like I was going like 80 or 90. It was like a BMW in the middle of the night, and it was like a 12-hour drive. I was jamming, and these lights just came up so fast. And I was like, "What the heck?" And then it like caught me like on the speed. I'm still thinking it's a truck, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And I go around the turn, all of a sudden the lights go immediately left, like across into like a field. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I look out there, and then this white beam comes out and goes, and shoots like all the way across the bottom of the like the field. They're out, and it's like flying through where the windmills are. And I was like, at first it was like exciting. Then also I'm like, whoa, man, I want to get away from this thing now,
Yeah.
And then there was like another one coming in, and I was like, now I stopped looking. I was like speeding up, going like 90. I'm like, we're okay, okay. And then that was kind of it. But that was like a really distinct one I'll never forget. And then
Yeah, like I had fear.
and that's
Like,
what you gotta try not to, right? You gotta
but I
try
did
not to
like,
have fear.
because my boyfriend, he goes, I go, I said, hey, look at this, because I was doing the dishes in the ocean and I sensed some light in front of me. And I looked up and there was this UFO that was this huge UFO. It took up half the bay, and I've tried to look for pictures. I found some. I've sent a couple to Orion, my friend Orion.
Let me do a couple digs here. We got Apex is digging on Instagram really hard too. But I want to show this
Oh,
on Gematria. What do you got?
well, if we wanted, here's
You
one that
time
looks
out for a
really.
second, Mel. You time out. Your brain's
Oh,
going too fast. Time out.
it is. It's just one on fire. But we really want to play that
Okay.
the Michael Tellinger video about the vowels.
Okay,
because
so check
that's
this out. Admiral Byrd, 107, Mel. You seen this? So Admiral
yep.
Byrd. Here's a weird connection I just randomly found on accident. Admiral Byrd 107 at 107, Emerald Byrd 107. Where the Emerald
Wow.
Heart ended. Look at reduction 53, 107, 53, and 190. Now watch this. I'm gonna go back to Admiral Byrd. Admiral Byrd 107, 53. Check this out. Remember that 107, 53. Kyle 53, reduction 17. 107 was Admiral Byrd, and reduction 53. Watch. Admiral Byrd, 107. So it's a reduces or drop the zero at 17.
Okay, I got
Reduction
it.
reduction 53.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so yeah, 107. So just call that a 17.
Yep.
107. And then 53. And I just put just my first name, Mel, just Kyle is 53, which was the
Wow.
reduction. My reduction is 17. And it's got all the numbers, 55 and the
It sure
19. But
does. What's
so
Melzie?
Admiral Byrd, Melzie, 70. We got 34. Q Clearance Patriot. Amazing Kaye. Oh, amazing. Look at Kaye without the E. Missing E, 107. 44
Mhm.
reduction. And then the E in there, 112. Mind, 152. Melzie Kaye's mind, 171. That's kind of cool. 81 on the
Yeah.
reduction. Okay, so hold on. I want to go back to this dig. My
Oh,
guys
it's
got
hammer time. Oh, it's
hammer time, hammer time. No, let me go with these digs real quick before I forget. Okay, check this out. Good job, Apex. Thank you. You said officially called the United States Navy Antarctic Developments Program, codename Operation High Jump, led by my grandfather, Admiral Richard E. Byrd. He's got Richard E. Byrd, by the way. January 6th, 1947, entered strange polar area with no snow. January 7th, 1947, found land with strange vegetation and lakes. Trinity Eagle Eyes is with us. Lily's been with us way back in the day and on Q School. Thanks for coming over here. She's on Instagram now. She's learning the ropes on Instagram. Our friend from Puerto Rico. So go give her a follow. Trinity Eagle Eyes. Follow to Apex Alpha for Apex_Alpha. Y'all see the name on my screen here. Detox Coach. I don't know if they're still in there. Thanks for stopping by. January 11th, 1947. Saw strange animals like mammoths. January 13th, 1947. Met men who spoke an unknown language. Apex, I'm kind of curious about this. This sounds like something other than his diary, because the diary was one flight. These are days. So this is like an actual, looks like a journey to Antarctica. Can you confirm this is Antarctica? That is part of the, I don't want to say deception, but let's say operational security, is there was a lot of stuff happening in the North Pole, but they didn't let people know about that. That's why, again, a lot of people thought the diary was him leaving Antarctica, but he actually left from Iceland. And
Mhm.
again, the bigger secrets are in North Pole, which nobody really talks about. If you understand, if you believe the concept too of the inner Earth and like the
Okay.
last time I'm out, the concept of that is actually then these higher beings would have cloaking technology, whether it's ice or whatnot, so you can't enter unless you're granted access in there. So that's if people are like, well, why don't we find this or that? This higher technology. Okay, what do you want, Mel?
Um, did you want to look for or show the Michael Tellinger vowel video? But I wanted to say, and I can't find it now, but I'd heard, okay, that there was a UFO that crashed in Greenland, right? And that's what created the Ice Age.
A UFO crashed in Greenland and that caused the ice age.
Yeah,
How would that cause it?
long time ago. And maybe
Mhm.
that's why Trump wants Iceland
I've
so that we
I've
can
heard
take over that technology.
I've heard there was actually like radar looking down, and there's definitely something under the ice in Greenland, which that should just make total sense. Again, there's the secrets are even more in the North Pole. I've even heard that too. Living in Alaska, there's some different stories that a lot of people don't know about. Anyways, here's Admiral Byrd. If you follow too the diary, the concept is he was allowed to enter into inner Earth because he was a high moral character, white hat, full integrity. And they basically said, stop dropping nuclear weapons. It's being felt dimensionally all over the place. You need to tell this to, your superiors, yada, yada, yada. Of course, when he got back, the military said, fuck you. We're not going to tell anybody about this. It's got to be a secret. And he felt really rubbed the wrong way about that and about the military in general. The fact that they would keep that a secret because he knew then, like there's floating, according to the diary, he's got these floating little islands you ride on, like a little hovercraft type thing, and there's conveyor belts, and there's a crystalline city, and there's the Hanabu craft. He actually mentions that in the diary, is that the craft flies up next to him and it's got the swastika, which a swastika is an ancient symbol, but there is a lot of that tracking the inner Earth that supposedly like the Nazis did get into inner earth, that's actually what they were mainly looking for. That's why they're going to Tibet, like the Tibetan monks were protecting entrances to inner earth. If you follow that too, even the Marvels movie shows that. The one Marvels, I'm not sure which one it is, but you can tell it's the Nazis, and they're looking for crystals and stuff, and the monks are protecting it. So that's all like truth in plain sight. And then where was I going to go with that one? Who were we talking about? Anyways, it'll come back around. So what do you want to do now, Mel?
Michael Tellinger. It's in your Kyle file.
Okay, cafe.
Boy, I'm having a heat flash right now. I think I might have to turn my air conditioner on real quick.
Yeah, mute yourself, turn your air conditioner on. Shut the fuck up for a little bit. I love you. Where'd Tellinger go? He must be below here. Is it a video he's talking? Oh, you got a YouTube video. Okay. What did I do? I want to share that tab. Okay, we're on YouTube. 25-minute video. How long you want to watch this? I guess I'll just start it. You stop me when you're ready, I guess, Mel.
Can manifest things. We become creators and can manifest anything with sound.
This will leave you speechless.
Hello, this is Michael Tellinger.
Is about to show you how the hidden rhythms of frequency shape our world. This is real, powerful, and it's all around us. So sit tight and let's dive in.
What the toroidal fields look like, or that are created by the sounds we make when we speak. And phenomenal research and work has been done to show us what the different toroidal shapes and fields look like of different letters and different sounds, especially vowels. And then as we speak, these toroidal fields that we manufacture and we create with our mouths, infinite forms, infinite shapes, infinite creativity that we manifest, actually become scalar waves and scalar technology that go into all of creation and permeate all of creation instantly. It doesn't take light years for the thoughts we have or the words we speak to permeate all of creation. It happens instantaneously.
A toroidal field is a captivating energy pattern that assumes the shape of a torus, reminiscent of a donut or a vortex. It serves as a gateway, connecting multiple dimensions and providing a conduit for the flow of energy and information. Within the realm of esoteric philosophy, the toroidal field is considered a fundamental structure underlying the fabric of reality itself. In the exploration of metaphysics and the hidden realms of existence, the concept of toroidal fields has emerged as a profound and captivating phenomenon. These fields, which manifest as torus-shaped energy patterns, are believed to serve as gateways to unseen dimensions, bridging the gap between the physical and the metaphysical. Research and observation have revealed that these toroidal fields are not solely abstract constructs, but are intimately intertwined with the human experience of language and communication. In particular, there exists a fascinating correlation between the shapes of toroidal fields and the sounds we produce, with a particular emphasis on vowels. The human vocal apparatus, with its intricate arrangement of the larynx, vocal cords, and resonating chambers, acts as a unique instrument through which the energy of speech is channeled. When we vocalize different letters and sounds, the intention behind the sound combines with the physical mechanics of our vocal apparatus, giving rise to a distinct toroidal pattern. For example, the vowel sound A is associated with a toroidal field that expands outward from the speaker, resembling a pulsating sphere of energy encompassing its surroundings. This expansive field signifies openness, creativity, and the primal spark of creation. On the other hand, the vowel sound O generates a toroidal field that loops back upon itself, evoking a sense of containment, introspection, and cyclical energy. Each letter and sound in the phonetic spectrum is thought to generate its own unique toroidal pattern, resonating with its corresponding energetic signature. The shape and characteristics of these toroidal fields are believed to arise from the interplay between the physical acts of vocalization, the intention behind the sound, and the metaphysical aspects of language. Moreover, the existence of distinct toroidal shapes and fields associated with different sounds and letters suggests a profound connection between the human voice and the fundamental structure of reality. It implies that language, in its essence, is not merely a tool for communication, but a conduit through which we interact with the energetic fabric of the universe.
That's a big statement right there, man. Words create your reality. That's kind of interesting, the whole concept too. And that's why I liked learning.
But a conduit through which we interact with the energetic fabric.
I want to get that on the screen.
Of the
fabric on the universe. So words create your reality. That's where I actually started learning, because that was my question about gematria before I really got kind of baptized in it, so to speak. Is I didn't understand, if it was the Hebrew alphabet people were talking about. Then you have like simple gematria, and let me just show some basics of the gematria, since more people are learning this, and I think I probably know it better than most now because we got some awesome friends. But some of the simple stuff, the gematria is, for instance, God. Even the concept of Q, the 17th letter, we don't need that letter in the alphabet. We could just use CU or other combinations of letters. But because we have Q, we have 26 letters in the alphabet. So then when we do God, G-O-D, 7 plus 15 plus 4, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, God comes out to 26 letters in the alphabet. Look at this, actually, Kyle, 17 reduction, reverse 55. That's a trip. Another one. Look at that. God, Kyle, 1755. It's just got 53 here instead of 26. So God is 26 though. And then if you go A plus 1 plus, Z, D, do the whole alphabet, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z is 351. So you add up all the letters, A, 1, B, 2, all the way at 351. Then you do God communicates through numbers, 351. You also have the 26 holy numbers. What is it? The 26 holy numbers. I always get that one slightly wrong. What are we missing? 9? There's an I missing. Dang it. Adam knows there's some of us 26 holy. Oh, wait, I didn't even spell it right. Numbers. Missing 7. What's 7? G. Somewhere in there I'm missing something. So anyways, there's a couple of those. What else we got? Man, they explain the whole thing. The point being is, let me put it this way, simplify things, is English language is encoded by God. We know that then because this, and in my opinion, certainly they used it against us, but the cool part about the English language is it's malleable. So the English language adds more words to its vernacular of all the English words every single year. Each year, the words it adds is almost more words added than all other languages, like combined over all their time. Like most other languages, they get created and then they stay that way. English language is malleable, where people are creating words every single day. So we can actually shift that into a better frequency so that we can create. I've been encouraged that for a long time, create new words. So when you say something, you're like, I don't even know if that's a word. Heck yeah, it is. That's the word we want to start using now. So create your own words, shift our frequency, and we can change our reality, because our words literally create a reality. Now, I trust we're going back to this telepathic communication. I believe that's what it was before the Tower of Babel fell. I think sometimes the Bible inverts things exactly. I don't know it well enough, so full disclosure on that. But I believe, we were telepathic, but then we also have this gift of the voice. You're muted too, by the way, Mel. We have this gift of our language. Yeah, you've been muted for a while. I thought you knew that. So we have this gift of our voice, though, and obviously our voice can command people. We can use it in different ways, and that's even just a masculine thing to learn. I mean, for anything, like learning how your voice actually can affect people and how you can change the tones of it. And that's interesting with the vowel letters. Also, the different alphabets. I really was connected with some friends more recently. They're Albanian. Albanian seems to be this really, really ancient language. And it's interesting because they have 36 letters, but it's way less confusion because there's no confusion how you pronounce something. The English language can be very confusing because it's like, the same spelling, same letters, everything, and you pronounce them totally different. So if your English is your second language, it's really hard to understand. Now everyone knows it because it's like this master language of the world right now because of the American economy, but it's complicated. So the Albanian alphabet of 36 letters, exactly what everything is, and again, it's that frequency based, but they really try to hide and banish that. Even any of the indigenous cultures that have languages, I'm really connected to indigenous people. It's funny because like we're we know these ancient souls. I'll talk with like Intuits or out here in the indigenous in Alaska or Native Americans in the lower 48 or something. And they'll be like, I've had the funniest reactions. They're like, what's up with this guy? How does he know these things? It like throws them so off guard. I'm this white boy. And I just like intuitively know stuff, but it's like I'm speaking their language and they're almost like freaking out. It's kind of funny. I'll be right
You're
back.
like a wigger.
Huh?
You're like a wigger, but for the
but for the indigenous, yeah.
indigenous.
Go ahead. I gotta grab the cat real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, so anyways, I think it's interesting about the toroidal field and how it affects like everything. And when I found out that the Merkaba was that it created the language of the Hebrew language, it was like I felt there is a God, there is a creator of all created things that did this. Humans couldn't have created that, right? And I love Michael Tellinger. I wish Kyle would have just pressed play and we could have continued on with that.
What? Well, we're not here to watch YouTube, Mel. We're here to.
They don't want to just hear me talk.
Not with that attitude.
No, they don't want to hear me just talk. But I did put a little cute one after we get done with Michael. If you wanted to play the rest of that, since it's so good.
No, we're not playing that. Was it really that good?
No,
Let's take some votes. Let's get some votes. The people in the comments and Rumble.
What do you guys want? Do you want to listen to more Michael Tellinger in that video we're playing?
22 minutes left of the language.
Cows are really humming. They're mooing and humming vibrations.
Oh, the cows, and that's interesting because the dolphins, all the stuff, people that play music like in next to them. Let's check out the comments here on Rumble stuff real quick. Let's see, we got July 1952, UFO landed on White House lawn. So I think we said what was
some pictures too of what my UFOs kind of look like at the bottom of your Kyle
you
file.
calm down for a second. I'm trying to concentrate here. 1953 was Eisenhower, so July was before Eisenhower. So who's before Eisenhower? Truman or something? Who was in office in 52? So July 1952, UFO landed on White House lawn. Thank you for that dig. C.R. Hayner. I'm not sure you want to pronounce that. They also shared Admiral Richard E. Byrd, particularly his expedition to Antarctica in 1947, known as Operation High Jump. So we had that dig on Instagram over there. Sanskrit swastika translates to good fortune or well-being. Nice dig, Jedi. Thank you. Words create your reality. 300. Nice. I know I got to have Adam come on and do it. He does a really good spiel. He even breaks it down to DNA. Like D is the fourth letter, and then N is 14, and then A is 1. So it's like 1414 or 4141. And then it's like the way it breaks down, it starts over. And he also can do the alpha and the omega. So A is 1, and then Z 26. So A and Z, the beginning and the end, is 27. JFK is 27. And there's a whole thing with that. Truman brought up Truman. Oh, yeah, we were supposed to be talking about Truman. That was the original show, too. So are we supposed to do anything that? So maybe that's a vote. They vote Truman. So that sounds like a vote against Tellinger. Anybody else put your votes in there? Let me see what's Instagram. Anybody's votes on 22 more minutes of Tellinger and the vowels? Or should we keep going with this? Why did we stop exploring Antarctica? Yeah, good question. Keith is on Instagram. Why did we stop exploring Antarctica? According to like insiders, again, this would be the more SSP concept. Again, all this stuff, I've studied it. I've left it behind to learn Q, to learn about government. But then it comes back around full circle at the perfect time. It's like it fits perfectly. So according to that is like, again, the technology, the not letting people find out this thing. So supposedly there's 3 craft that crashed in Antarctica. This also lines up with the Law of War manual. The Law of One. The Law of One channelings talk about essentially what there was is if you look at how things are spaced out, like so our electrons around the nucleus have all followed similar paths. So you have Sun, you have Mercury, Venus, Earth, then there's Mars, then there's this really long gap, and then there's Saturn. There's like in the gap, or this big gap where a planet should be, it's the asteroid belt. Now, according to Corey Good and others, that they put this in supercomputers and they tracked all the asteroids, and a supercomputer calculated all the way back. And sure enough, the asteroid belt was a previous planet. So then the Law of One manual and the teachings go like this: is Mars was actually the moon of a super Earth called Tiamat. I know Tiamat. There's maybe one other name. It was a super Earth that just like Earth, but massive, like Jupiter-sized Earth, though, with the oceans, the lush land, all the thing. But then Mars as a moon it wasn't like our desolate moon, which is artificial in itself. Is this moon was just basically like another Earth. It had liquid water, life, advanced life, and somehow they were warring with each other, and then they fell in consciousness and destroyed each other. That's how there's the big scar on Mars. It literally blew off its atmosphere, but the other planet completely exploded. And this seems to be connected to Superman, right? The Superman movie, they also then get stuck into these, they have their planet explodes, and you see them stuck in the mirrors at the end. Law of One manual talks about being stuck in this second density consciousness for like hundreds of thousands of years. They fell, and it's weird. I haven't really talked about this much, but like the super soldier program, you see in like the movie Stranger Things, like L11, they're teaching her, like they're training her to use psychic, like to kill an animal, right? That really traumatizes the children, to kill the animal. I've had weird flashbacks, like, or if it's flat, like, I could literally start bawling. It's weird that like I maybe was involved somehow in destroying the planet, like the Superman super soldier planet or program. So that really messes me up. But I'm also thinking like our frequency will bring it back. But to go with that concept, though, when that explosion happened, just like other cataclysms, some people are given a little bit of advanced knowledge. So they're taking their craft and they're trying to fly off. And there's this massive event that destroys a planet, and it wipes off the atmosphere of Mars. This is the whole concept of really the fallen angels is on their way to their craft gets damaged, and they crash land into what is modern day or now Antarctica. I don't know if at the time if it was frozen or if it was already like tropical, but they crash land there. Three different craft. They're like one's like 300 feet across, but then one's like 3 miles across, and then one's like 30 miles across. And then according to the storyline, then it's called cannibalized their ship. So they were crashed, but they were using the technology from the ship to start growing out and building in this new land, which was Earth, because the fallen angels, it's literally they have the elongated skulls with the pot belly. So you got like the Akhenaten type people. And Corey Good's saying you could see these beings of like frozen. They got like flash frozen. They're all tumbled around. They instructed them to call them people.
Did you know
they believe
that's
that
also the story of Anunnaki?
And that's, I mean, where does that connect with everything? So like but the Mars beings is they believe there are gods. They're the fallen angels. They crash landed, and then they cannibalized their craft and then started to take over Earth. And this is like the 13 bloodline families. And then they've seeded, and then they've tried to control over Earth. I'm not quite sure where the Anunnaki fits in. There's some that's confusing because also we got the Nibiru, like the 12th planet concept, or is it another star, right? Because a lot of these star systems are not only binary, but actually trinary systems. So do you have like a dark star, this concept, or this 12th planet on this really, really long elliptical? It's just, there's so much fun to explore this, but there's all these questions get presented. Now, that's also a big problem I have with like flat Earth is like, if people think we're stuck on this flat Earth in the bubble, they don't even talk about these other like ideas. Like no one even talk like, wait a minute, what about the asteroid belt and like all these things? I mean, I understand, yeah, maybe that's all fake to trick us, but like I always say, if you examine something, if it's the truth, when you dig into it farther, it only gets more solidified that it's the truth because you look at it from different angles and you're like, oh yeah, that is a toroidal field. Oh yeah, it's still a toroidal from this angle. If it's not the truth, you dig into it more and it falls apart. The more I dig into like this concept of the space programs or extra dimensional, whatever, everything fits so perfectly against this expansive idea where that's why I think sometimes too it's kind of made to trap us, just like religion, where it's like giving your power up to like something outside yourself. Like you got to get to these lands beyond instead of it's all within, right? As within, so without, instead of the other. It's making you go searching elsewhere. And also you're kind of like, well, we're stuck here in this bubble. We can't get out. Like, and think about how humans are created. We are explorers. We want to get to the edge. We want to see what's over that next side. You're telling me that we were made to be explorers and explore everything, and we haven't tried to get to the edge? Like, that's just for me. But you know what I mean? So I just encourage people to look at this other information because it makes a lot of things connect for me as well. Corey Good talked about, mass arrest before Q ever came around. He also, then they allowed him to release DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, which is General Flynn was the 17th director of. Corey Good was allowed. They gave him documents because, again, he was telling a story and he's basically saying, no one's believed me, or y'all got to not throw me, or using me as this go-between person, and I'm getting effed and now I'm getting attacked. Like, throw me a bone. And they allowed him to release these DIA technologies, which is one was wormhole technology and the other one was like warp drive technology, really high level mathematics. He gave that to the public. It's been is a patent for these technologies directly from the Defense Intelligence Agency. So those stories all just jibe well. It makes certain things make a lot of sense. Again, I'm also open-minded to the realm idea. Maybe we have different perspectives, or maybe you look at it one way, it is flat in this realm, and then another realm it's something else. So again,
our realm has like a 3D aspect to it. So it has a material like density, right? And so if we go into like if you remote view, or if you go into the quantum field, that doesn't require a physical body. So physics work different in different dimensions. And when you take LSD, or you take DMT or something of a psychedelic, you're able to see that there's another realm that's right there with you. Right. And so, I wonder what Tesla meant by it's a realm. And yet this realm, it has time captured, right? It functions on time, where the 5D doesn't have time. There's time, and there's like endlessness, like there's and yet there's higher and higher and higher dimensions. Just because you're in heaven doesn't mean you're God, or that you've attained that realm. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Just those are things that my mind thinks about, and that's why we call it Melzie Kaye's mind. You're muted. You're muted.
Thank you. Wait again. We still need little flags or something. Like Mel be all getting excited. I'm doing a dig. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have her put a little ping pong paddle up."
I'll just keep them muted next time, so then I can talk.
So listen how funny this is, Mel. The quantum realm we're in. I was asking who was the president, and whatever, and then but the person just put the answer. They just said Truman, and remember I thought they were voting that we wanted to do the Truman stuff. Then they responded Truman was president. We're doing the Truman
Show.
Yeah, the Truman Show, and then
that's
Truman
what we're talking about. Not President Truman, not POTUS. You're always talking about POTUS.
What else you got here? Jedi knickknack again. Antarctic Treaty signed 1959 and effective 1961. That's when JFK got signed into office. That's a 17 in there, 1961. Designates Antarctica as a region for peaceful purposes, primarily for scientific research. It prohibits military activities. So that's also like supposedly why I was, not allowed to go there. If you also strategically, militarily, that's what they're saying is. That's why Greenland's so important too. People understand this. If we are truly protecting ourselves from Russia, which we should still protect ourselves, even if they're our homies now or whatever, is Greenland is a strategic place that's super, super vital. And again, depending on the shape of the Earth, if it is the spherical, like you also can get to every point from up there really easily. And it's like same thing with Antarctica. It's a very strategic position. So they kind of all agreed, like we all need to be here. We can all get to parts of it. You know what I mean? So let's all just agree. And this goes to the concept of the deep state, right? And these wars play out in front of us that these guys are bad and they're against these people. But in actuality, there's these wealthy psychopaths. They're not elites that are controlling the world. They're the puppet masters behind everything. And I think it was even Corey Good kind of mentioned that. He's like, he really noticed that when he was like, wait a minute, Russia and USA was working together on this like top secret project during the Cold War when they're supposed to be like warring with each other. But really they have this advanced technology and they're actually homies on the this other level. So there's layers to this stuff, right? There's levels to this, just like he says on Not Like Us. Let's see, nuclear explosions. What's Jedi got here? This is a continuation of their one. So Antarctica is as a region for it was designated Antarctica as a region for peaceful purposes, primarily for scientific research, prohibits military activities, nuclear explosions. I think we should prohibit that everywhere, but that's good. But I guess we were testing shit everywhere, like testing stuff in the Nevada desert where I'm from. And territorial, so it prohibits the military activities, nuclear explosions, and territorial claims while promoting scientific cooperation and exchange of data. So think of there. No time beyond the 3D, somebody said too. So that's another thing too, right? We have this beautiful experience to have time so that we can experience duality. We can experience like the manifesting and stuff too, where we like, work towards something and we manifest it. And then as opposed to like the 5D quantum where we're already there. I think we're shifting all the way in between that. Just like Mel was saying, like even when she saw JFK Jr. and Diana when they died, she knew felt like they weren't dead. I wasn't at the age or that I just didn't pay attention to that kind of crap. I don't even remember JFK Jr.'s crash. I was probably
I
playing
saw her get
baseball.
married.
Was that? You saw
I
her
saw
got
her
married?
get married. Yeah, me and my cousin, we got up in the middle of the night, and
Was that like
we
80s? When was that one?
in the 80s. Yep, my grandma made us popcorn, and we watched her get married. It was a big deal.
That's crazy. Let me jump on over here to.
We
I'm
wanted
gonna show.
okay, and then see my parents had a bridal boutique, and so all the dresses then were Princess Diana dresses.
Oh
And
yeah,
I used to model dresses for like wedding shows,
yeah.
and but I was really tiny back then, and so none of the dresses really fit me, and they'd have to put like clips and stuff on. There was only like 3 dresses in my dad's whole shop that fit me, and this one was this like it was beautiful. I love this dress, but it was based off of Princess Diana,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah,
I got
yeah. Icon.
yeah, and that was one that I wore. I love that dress. And then one of the photographers took a picture of me, and I got put on like the front page. My dad was proud, and yeah.
Cool. Cool. I'm gonna hop over to Instagram. I think somebody had to take off. I'm just gonna share some of the digs over there. I wish we could get them fed into here so we didn't have to jump all around. That's okay though. Some of our friends here, y'all. Appreciate you guys. Your questions, comments. Apex had to take off. This has been an absolute mind f, but I have to work to do creating a huge video for my report about the elite hunting club parties. Yeah, very important to expose that. So thank you, Apex, for your work. And Keach, interesting character there. They seem to be connected. He said he's checking on his guys. So thank you guys. Oh, Tia's in here. I don't know if she's still down here. Light worker around the world. She's in the Smoky Mountains, I think. Back in the day, I'm not sure where she is. If you're still in there, Tia, good to see you. Tia Raw Unity. Follow them. That's an awesome account too. Kind of like me on a solo journey. Light worker, healing the grid, doing that kind of stuff. Tia _Raw _Unity _113. Y'all see it on the screen. Follow that account, support them. Interesting Raw, because I was just talking about Law of One, and here comes Tia Raw to pop in there. So that's probably not a coincidence either. We got quite a people watching us out there on the other place too. Quantum, my Quantum Healer X account, Undercover White Hat. I guess I can still say for X also. Hammer Time. We got people on Rumble and Facebook too, Mel. So lots of people waking up out there. Waking up. Let's play a little video here and break it up for a second, and then I guess I could go. I'll start playing. Want me to keep playing the what's his name? I want to say
It's
Tesla.
a really good video. I never
Feel like I'm gonna go back to that. Because I need just a second myself.
I'm looking for something to show what I. Never mind.
Okay, we'll play this for a second.
Do it.
Universe. By exploring and understanding the intricate interplay between toroidal fields and the sounds we produce, we gain insight into the profound relationship between language and the unseen realms. The toroidal fields generated by our vocal expressions act as portals, allowing energy and information to flow between dimensions, transcending the boundaries of our physical reality.
In Christianity, it's the word. In Hinduism, it's Om. The Egyptians believed the universe was sung into creation, and the original people of Australia believed that the world was created with 3 sacred songs. And then we have the phenomenal similarities between the 6 days of creation in Christianity and the word that created everything, the 6 aspects of Om, and the 6 aspects of the all-seeing eye of Horus, and you start seeing the connections between all these ancient cultures and the creation stories. Sound is a source of all creation. Sound and resonance is responsible for everything.
Everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. We are told that this is how the worlds began and how creation took shape. If we put that into the modern idiom and say that into the great voids of space came a sound and matter took shape.
Among the building blocks of language, vowels hold a special significance in shaping our toroidal fields. Vowels, characterized by an open vocal tract and unobstructed airflow, serve as vehicles for the uninhabited expression of sound. Through focused research and observation, experts have delved into the distinct toroidal patterns evoked by different vowel sounds, revealing a mesmerizing symphony of energy that permeates our spoken words. The power of vowels lies in their ability to evoke unique toroidal fields, each with its own intricate pattern and energetic signature. Consider the sound of A as an example. This vowel sound generates a toroidal field that expands outward from the speaker, embracing and encompassing its surroundings. It is as if this expansive field signifies the openness, creativity, and the primordial spark of creation itself. The A sound resonates with the depths of human expression, giving rise to a toroidal field that radiates with the potential for infinite possibilities. In contrast, the vowel sound E produces a toroidal field characterized by a spiraling motion. This field evokes energies of transformation and growth, symbolizing the perpetual cycle of renewal. The spiraling toroidal pattern mirrors the inherent dynamism and fluidity of life, capturing the essence of evolution and progress. With each utterance of the E sound, a symphony of spiraling toroidal fields unfolds, resonating with the transformative power of the spoken word. Every vowel sound manifests its own unique toroidal pattern, contributing to the rich symphony of energy that infuses our language. The vowel I generates a toroidal field that radiates with focused intensity, representing clarity and self-expression. The O sound produces a toroidal field that exhibits a circular, oscillating motion, symbolizing completeness and harmony. The U sound engenders a toroidal field with a constricting motion, reflecting the energy of consolidation and concentration. Each vowel sound adds its distinctive resonance to the multi-dimensional symphony that emanates from our spoken words. The interplay between vowels and their associated toroidal fields serves as a profound reminder of the inherent connection between language and the energetic fabric of existence. As we shape these toroidal fields through vocalization, we not only communicate with one another, but also engage with the unseen dimensions of reality. Our words become imbued with the vibrational essence of the toroidal fields they manifest, transmitting their energetic signatures into the fabric of creation. Moreover, this multi-dimensional symphony of vowels highlights the potential for intentional and conscious use of language. By understanding the unique toroidal patterns evoked by each vowel sound, we gain the ability to harness the power of these energetic fields for various purposes. We can infuse our words with intention, directing the flow of energy in alignment with our desires and intentions. Through the conscious modulation of vowel sounds, we become active participants in the symphony of creation, shaping our reality through the energetic currents we generate. In conclusion, vowels form the cornerstone of language, and their significance extends beyond mere communication. Through the focused research and observation of experts, distinct toroidal patterns associated with different vowel sounds have been unveiled. Each vowel sound contributes its own unique resonance to the multidimensional symphony of energy that permeates our spoken words. By understanding and harnessing the power of these toroidal fields, we gain the ability to shape our reality and manifest our intentions through the intentional use of language. The symphony of vowels invites us to embrace the inherent creative potential within our voices as we contribute to the harmonious dance of energy that weaves through the tapestry of existence.
And then Eric Larson is the guy that created the cymoscope, and this is when you can suddenly see how the human voice has potential to create infinitely. That with our voice, we have the potential to create everything and anything we can imagine. That we are indeed creators.
So he's saying the voice is important, I guess, in our tone and flexion. Practice strengthening your voice there. It's very interesting. Again, it's this gift we have since we forgot how to do telepathy. We do have
Mhm.
our beautiful voices and our sacred sound box.
So there are different, like Om. Each chakra has a sound too. So maybe we need to learn those and start. I mean, if the A, E, I, O, U, each one makes a sound, um, and we affect then the toroidal field, right?
Uh-huh.
Like maybe we need to learn that more so we can attune ourselves harmonically, right? And that's what it's doing. I think when Om, it's a position too. Did you know that? Like it's a position.
Didn't,
Yeah. And yoga is too, the positionings that they do. So these things are opening up energetically things within us and then connecting us to our world through sound and frequency, because like a signal, right, a shape creates a frequency, right? Just
yes.
like yeah, like a pyramid, different pyramid shapes create different frequencies. And so
I feel like
right,
that's like the language of the spheres. I could be wrong on that, but it's like the sacred geometry. It also matches like the frequency of the harmonics and stuff, right? I think that's kind of like what Mel's talking
and
about
that's
there.
why we get like this behind me, right, this mandala, it has a frequency, right? And so different shapes can affect us, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why with John Keely's work, he had signals that he would put on the wall, and it would affect then his machinery. He would trigger his machinery to work with signals and sometimes
Mm.
telepathically too, and that was preceded Tesla. He's actually
Keely. How do you spell the Keely name?
John Keely,
Yeah, how do you spell the last name?
Keel, I think EY.
Let me look him up real quick because I want people to see him. And then,
Dale Pond says that he's the originator of 369. And Dale, he was a librarian of the Edgar Cayce Museum, or a library for like 10 years or so. He's a friend of mine.
let's do this one where let's do the other one a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go.
We should have him on.
Which guy's name again?
His name is Dale Pond.
He's still alive, and then you know him to have him on.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Let's do that. So this
He has
John, this is right here.
Facebook. Yep.
John Ernest Worrell. You tab here. Okay, John Ernest Worrell Keely. Let's put that one in Gematria real quick. A little forename. Let's see what we got here. Gematria.
And Dale has one of his devices. He has a Diana sphere. If you're interested in quantum physics, John Keely's the one. John Keely and Walter Russell are the ones you really want to study.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Tesla, but these guys work. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah,
Because Tesla drew from them.
Right. Mel knows a lot of really brilliant scientists, a lot of good work most people don't know about. It's their specialty here. So this is also why I'm trying to, help her do some of these because she loves this stuff. So right here, John Keely, September 3rd, 1837, fellow Virgo, 2 days before me, 2 days ahead of schedule. 1898 was an American fraudster. Look at how Wikipedia got to frame him. And self-proclaimed inventor from Philadelphia claimed to have discovered a new motive power, which was initially described as vaporic or etheric force. They don't want you to know about this shit. And later as an unnamed force based on the vibratory sympathy by which he produced interatomic ether from water and air. Sounds just like Tesla getting energy right out of the air from Earth, right? Keely's claims were highly disputed throughout his career in the 21st century when we had freaking pedos like Edison and all these clowns that try to discredit all these true, brilliant minds. Are generally considered to be pseudoscientific. You mean like the bullshit science you have for your vaccines, you cocksuckers? Excuse my language. Keely secured
That's
substantial.
why Jacob Astor invested in him, because he's a quack.
And John Jacob Astor, this is an interesting connection. This will go to Q drops and stuff too. So Keely secured substantial investments from many people, including John Jacob Astor IV, John Jacob Astor was the richest, wealthiest man in the world at the time, and he opposed the Federal Reserve. So this is the concept too. These bloodline families, there's wealthy. This is other part of it too. No one really talks about. It's like the Kennedys are one of those bloodline families. As light comes to Earth, light is going to keep entering into the darkness. So these bloodline families are actually going to flip, and I think that's a big part of the plan too, Mel. The Gone with the Wind program. The people that are coming forward. You're talking about like Podesta's son. Of course, they've been abused, but I think these bloodline families, it's just time. They're being eradicated. But as more light comes to Earth, these darker family and bloodlines are going to flip to the good side. So, but anyways, it gets complex because again, these guys are all looking out for themselves. Was I not showing his image? Where John Jacob go?
No, you gotta go like I'll show you the Dianas. We did a show on him once, but
let me finish this up. What? You're talking about Diana's family. I'm talking about John Jacob Astor. Hold on. So John Jacob Astor, there he is. Oh, this is important though for the Titanic. So he opposed the Federal Reserve guys, rich, wealthiest man in the world. Again, these guys didn't all necessarily agree with each other. Even in general, the service to self, rich psychopaths, not elites, they'll form partnerships with each other solely for if it benefits them. But then if they have, they'll also go against each other if it's in their best interest. That's how they operate. So anyways, and this is so John Jacob Astor was against the Federal Reserve. So they got him on the Titanic, and they sank the ship, and also with not enough life rafts, all that bullshit. But they made sure John Jacob Astor perished in this incident because he was opposed to the Federal Reserve. And then they go full circle. The Hollywood completes the lie. The guy that's quote unquote John Jacob Astor in the movie is the one that Rose is like supposed to marry, and he gets away and lives. But in real life, John Jacob Astor dies. But in the movie Titanic, they have him as living. But really, he was the dude that was the good guy, and they wind up killing him. Despite numerous requests from stockholders, yada yada, all the bullshit attacks from this is like Wilhelm Reich. So we need to do a show on Wilhelm Reich too. You'll see the fake news. Wikipedia is definitely considered fake news. So they're going to attack the truth.
If you want to go down to your Kyle file, I did put in the show that we did on quantum mechanics, and we did feature John Keeley in it. But if you go down to the bottom, that's the Diana sphere that Dale Pond has. So he has one of John Keeley, I think, made over 100 different like motors and stuff, and he was brilliant. So
that looks like the soccer trophy.
It could,
in a way, I mean, it's different, but it's similar with the rings.
It's supposed to create a field, like a 0-point energy field, and has healing aspects to it.
Ooh, Sandia, that's New Mexico.
Yeah, he's up in Colorado, and he bought an old school, Dale Pond did, and he has like he does teachings there, so people can go and learn from him.
Dang, look at us!
Look at my hair. I had a bad hair day that day.
I never even had a beard.
I remember that day.
My house got burned down a couple months ago.
You did so good though, Kyle. Look at that. Like,
I know, look how far we come.
That's
in less than a year. Less than a year.
Yep. No, that was two-ish, right?
Oh, no, 22. Yeah, it's coming up on 2 years.
I was still down on my thing.
Late 20. Yeah, we're coming up on 2 years. Never mind. But we've done a bunch. I mean, we are. So
anyways, I did drop that on my
don't get too distracted now. You dropped a bunch of stuff. Let me connect some of these dots.
Oh,
what you got? Go ahead.
Okay. So those are the UFOs. They'll look like the what I saw right there, kind of
this
like
one?
that.
Dang, really? Yeah.
Well, it didn't have those things coming up, but if you go down to the next one, it was okay. So what it looked like this is it seemed to breathe. It was plasmic.
Oh yeah, breathing. You said, yeah, that's common.
And it didn't have like metal. But it kind of looked like this too, but it didn't have purple. Mine had like a white light coming out of the bottom, and it had different lights going around, and then a light source on top.
And you saw this, and this was we were with like a romantic partner at the time or whatever, right? And then you lost time, and he kind of never wanted to talk about. I don't know how much you want to share about all that, but
yeah, that was so
something happened. Happened.
He was a talker, like he loved stories. This would have been something he would tell everybody in all his life, right? And so the next morning, so we were woke up by the military police and evacuated off the beach because there was a hurricane coming in. We were surfers, and so we would go to the beach and go surfing and sleep on.
Hurricane.
Hurricanes don't come into Venezuela. And so when I was on, okay, so then in, so it's very, very rare, right? So we weren't thinking about no hurricanes coming in or nothing. We were like, you know, like we saw this UFO, and then the next thing you know, we had missing time, and the military police had like
Waking you up.
AK-47s, and we were naked. So not that that's
Was the
strange.
military naked? Not that a stranger was naked, but
No, we were naked. And so we were like, "Whoa, okay, we'll get up, and move our tent." And so we moved our tent off this beach and brought it back to this little fishing village, set it up in the middle of the night, and there's storming and everything, and other people did too. We weren't the only tourists that were doing this. So the next morning I woke up and I was like, "What the hell was that?" And
Mhm.
I got up and I looked around and I was kind of like, I wanted to know if anybody else saw what I saw on the beach. So I asked the very first people I saw on the next tent over, and I said, "Hey, did you guys see anything on the beach last night?" And they were like, "No, I didn't see anything." I said, "Well, I saw a UFO," and I was telling them all about it. And I turned to my boyfriend and I asked him, and he said, he looked at me, he goes, "I don't know anything about it." And I was like, "What?"
What?
I was like,
What?
"What?"
Yeah.
And he spoke Spanish. He didn't speak any English.
Mm.
And so we got
¿Qué
a ride
pasó?
home from these people. And in the car, I was asking him, like, in Spanish, I'm like, "Why didn't you tell him the truth? Why didn't you tell him what you saw?" And he goes, "I don't know what I saw, and I'm not saying nothing." And that's,
I think they gave him an anal probe, and he don't
I
want to
do
talk about
too. I think they gave him an anal
it.
probe because,
There was
okay,
some sex stuff going on there.
there was, because I'll tell you this part too. So, and I don't know if I told you this, but
I'm not sure if you
I
have.
have, I haven't, I don't know if I have, but so when I asked them a question, the people that were in the tent, it's kind of embarrassing. That's why I don't tell this part of the story. But I farted, you know, but I didn't have control of it, like
Oh,
normally, like you're like, "Oh, I
weird.
got a fart."
You remember
Oh,
not being in control of that. Oh, you did say that because
yeah.
it was almost like a programming thing, right? Like a mind programming thing. Because wasn't somebody like offended by it and like you couldn't do anything about it? Or maybe I'm
I
remembering
was like,
wrong.
I don't think, oh, well, they were British.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah. I knew there was
yeah,
something about that where they were like offended by the whole thing. Yeah,
they were very proper, so it was
yeah.
kind of like the this, skanky Americans farting in her tie-dye pants and all, and talking about UFOs.
That's funny. Dang, I was gonna say share
Can't you
something I
see that
hadn't
with,
shared
like, a
before.
little aluminum hat?
Oh,
And
oh, we
I got
talked
an
about.
anal probe last night. I didn't say that to 'em.
So we
But
talked about this concept. Just put it out there, throwing things out there because this is a trip and it actually connects to everything we kind of talked about. Is I don't know if we talked. I feel like one time we maybe mentioned this, Mel. People talking about us having abductions and they're like taking their eggs or sperm or whatever, and then maybe like making babies. Is it hybrids? Now I trust like highest timeline stuff where we're divinely protected and guided, and kind of, I guess Corey Goodnight talks about this is like our star family. If you believe that whole concept is the ones that are the ones not abducting but checking in on its own people. And according to him too, is our starseed family would come and like let's say if they took us, and would be everything would be fine. But then the military knew that these people got taken, so then the military would then actually re-abduct the person and try to figure out what was happening because they're like trying to gain information. These beings that have higher technology than them that they're trying to understand come to Earth and take a person for some reason. The military knew that happened, but they don't know why and what they did. So then when they get brought back, then the military would re-abduct them, and then the military does effed up things like puts the screen memory and stuff to like kind of scare people, or it'd be like they'll put the grays in there, but even though it was the military taking them, and then they do all this experiments, and probably not nearly as nice as our star family because they're actually trying to figure out why we
I
were being
don't
taken.
remember anything about being abducted, or like I don't have. I've tried to actually go back and like with different
Oh, like
people.
QHHT? Have you
Yeah.
done that? Wow. You weren't supposed to have it yet. Or
And
it's
it's like
no.
there's a psychic lock.
Yeah, it's
So
blocked. That sounds like
it
operational security, actually.
it is, and I can't get through. Like
Not
it's
yet.
like
It's a time
when
lock.
it happens, it's like I become narcoleptic
Mm.
and I
No,
actually shut down and I'll
man, see, that's like that. That's almost like MK Ultra like type programming. I mean, there's different
yeah.
kinds, but you can say a
So
certain
so
word and it
MK,
puts people to sleep, and that's what she's kind of referencing there, right there, guys.
going to MK to like okay, I'm a recovering alcoholic and I've
So
told you
you
this
MK Ultra'd yourself. You wiped your own memories plenty of times.
right. But my mom used to say, so I used to go like, I wonder if I'm an alcoholic. And my mom used to say, Mel, people who aren't alcoholics don't wonder if they're
Yeah, I'm
alcoholics.
gonna ask that question.
And I
You're
went,
asking the
what?
question you already.
I don't.
You never even thought about
So,
it. We
so
always think,
like, okay, when I first started wondering if I was abducted, when someone asked me about it once, I got upset. I got angry. And I thought, why do I have an emotional charge over them asking me a question? Did you get abducted? It's a simple question, you know? And I became defensive and angry about it, them asking it, even
yeah,
asking.
yeah.
And that, so I had to like look at that, like, why? And so then going to the MK question, like, if I wasn't normal people don't ask, are they an MK? And then they didn't. Okay, you're muted. And then they didn't go to Venezuela as a child, as a young teen, or well, in their 20s, and go be with the high-end psychopaths.
High end psychopaths, not elites. Yes, thank you. The wealthy psychopaths, high end, the high end model.
What do you call them? The wealthy
Wealthy
psychopaths.
psychopath. High end psychopaths. Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
High end psychopath. That's good for me. So let me.
wealthy works though.
Yeah,
That's where their power is.
yeah.
You know.
Wealthy. So don't get distracted now. I'm going to come through our thing because
Oh,
I just want a couple of concepts we talked about. I'm just going to come full circle. If you guys were in here for like the whole
this is
time,
Birdman.
Birdman Junior. So because you got some big graphs in here, I want to show. Okay, we did those ones. I guess okay. Talking about the toroidal field, the Merkaba. There's the Hebrew alphabet with the letters.
We got to do the cow.
Oh, this one. I want to show this one. Oh
Yes,
yeah, I don't
please
know
do
where the
this
cowboy
one.
is. This is what we're talking about. The different. This will explain. Let me read this whole thing. I'm not sure about the graphic here, but I'm sure it's gonna be pretty good. See the six-sided shape. That's the black cube of Saturn rotated. Israel's primary symbol, the so-called Star of David, is the same Saturnian symbol. Saturnians equals Luciferians. Same again. This is that concept too, where it's like the fallen angels, technically were Mars, but they worship Saturn. Ironically enough, or oddly, not to get off track on this, but Corey Good talks about meeting inner Earth beings, and there's a administrator from each race. There's basically a black, delegate person. There's a Asian. There's like all the different races, and they have amulets. They all have the Saturn, but with different like planets or stars in different locations. Just to add that little tidbit, it's kind of interesting to me. It also makes sense to me if like Earth is this great grand experiment. It would actually make
Yeah.
sense that the different races are slightly different beings. We kind of make like, joking, like Asians have such different culture, let's say Western culture might be like, man, it seems like they're from a different planet. And it's like, I think it's the grand experiment. So it also makes sense that there's delegations of each, in inner Earth and we're working together on things. So I just want to add that little tidbit. What were you going to say, Mel?
Well, this looks like a Joshua coil here of magnetism.
Okay, I'm going to show that next, but don't go to that just yet. Let me read this first, and then we're going to talk about the coil for sure. But thank
Oh
you
my
for leading.
gosh,
I'll
right
lead you.
here.
Jock.
Oh,
Jock 2. I wonder if this is Jock Doubleday. Jock Doubleday, that's who I got to find again. I used to follow him on my old Instagram account. Really brilliant guy. What do you got, Mel? What you got?
well, okay. Oh my gosh, I just put in.
Let me read this. You shut up for a second. Let me read this.
Oh,
What?
oh.
So right
I
here.
put in Joshua coil, and I got Sean Pekarsnik. That somatic photographer. I just
Okay,
put
yeah.
in. I just wanted an image, and I got him.
Oh, nice. Okay. Let me read this about the damn flower here. Okay, so the false flower of life, aka daisy of death, that's what they're referencing in some of those videos. Mel was kind of referencing kind of quickly. This is the daisy of death. Again, some people think it's the flower of life, but this is supposedly the false coding, okay, or the bloom of doom Metatronic death science technologies. This ancient name was adopted in reference to one of the primary inorganic energy distortion geometries used in this death science, the structure of which in common respects resembles a blossom. To a certain degree, I wonder if there's supposed to be the yin yang. We have the duality, so I think probably both might be necessary. I'm not a huge fan of this immediate, like, this is a bad, and what does that mean if it's the shape is wrong? I mean, that's really the most important stuff, though. It's our conceptual physics. Again, sound frequency creates shape. Sound and vibration frequency creates shape and form. So we might have this, again, it's kind of this Metatronic coding. Another thing too with Metatron, like Metatron, the angel, I have a very strong connection with. So, and then the story kind of goes as
We are
Enoch.
Metatron.
Okay, we are like this collective. I believe that. So Enoch like ascended as in the Metatron, and then I've heard stuff where they kind of tricked Metatron. He was probably trying to help humanity, but
Yep.
they actually tricked him into creating then this frequency that locked us in the dark realm. But then I also believe if you rose and then fell, just like as in life, if you rose before and you fell, you can rise again. So I believe Metatron's good, but the
That's what we're
Metatronic,
doing. There isn't
okay,
any good or bad. We
that's
put
a
this
good point too. That's a good
we
point.
put this dualistic, like, because we live in 3D, this 3D realm that we put in. Greg Braden does a really good job with this. I have a book called The Science of Compassion, Walking Between the Worlds, and he talks about duality in the 3D and how living in the 5D, you go to that 40,000 foot view where you have you're able to see the beginning, the middle, and the end of the parade. So there's no judgment in, well, that girl didn't do a very good job over there, or blowing that horn or whatever, twirling that, baton. We go, oh, the whole thing is beautiful. And so we have a different perspective from the 40,000 foot view than we do from being within it. And yeah, so
that's a tough concept too, because like with the the people that are doing the stuff with the children, without them we wouldn't have woken up. It's like the darkness makes us rise in our light, and then you still gotta like love that different aspect.
do you want to play the bottom one with the Instagram there? That's Sean, and he has a Joshua coil, and he shows a little bit of magnetism. If you want to play it, it's real quick. It's like
I
30
need to
seconds.
finish this first still, so hold on. Okay, flower of life, aka daisy of death. The eternal life lotus, real flower of life. See, I don't even like that, real flower of life. Based on 15-dimensional unified field creation physics, primal light flows, Kaye Rasha, from the organic living cosmos via the center, expanding out from the center, then back into the center. So that sounds like toroidal field, continuously replenishing itself. Your Merkaba, that's spelled wrong. Well, maybe that's another way. Field used to flow this way before the Metatronic distortions occurred in our reality. So that's where there's this anchoring in, right? This what do you want to call it? It's almost like a parasite, or it's in embedding,
So
right?
what Ashiana Dean says is like, so Metatron, like there was some type, let's say there was a wormhole that was created in the fabric of reality, and Metatron tried to go in and help the situation, to save it, to repair it. And when Metatron got pulled into that reality, like the 3D basically,
Like
and then
anchored it
forgot.
in.
Yeah,
Forgot. The
then
veil of
forgot.
forgetfulness got his ass too.
Yeah. And so then they blamed, like, like the people that they tried to save, basically forgetting that they came to save them. And so that's also the story of Sophia. But if you go down all the way to the bottom, and then just click on that one,
Yeah.
it'll show the toroidal field.
Here, I want to show this too. So what Mel was talking about. So the batteries too, and this is the owl symbolism. I wanted to show this. So I was going to do a quick recap, so don't get too distracted here, Mel. If you see this, what this looks like right here, guys. This is the flower of life, and how it's going out and it comes back in. Okay, so then when we look at like a battery or a magnet, a magnet under the what are those things called? Those?
I'm sorry.
So here's the Bohemian Grove owl. This is interesting. This looks like the binary star system. We got Earth, Red Dragon, Black Hole Sun, Bohemian Grove. So I've never seen this. Well, I have seen it, but I don't know what the explanation is.
So
Rising
so
from
this
the
is a
dark primordial
phantom.
waters.
So you have like a
Well, a phantom planet.
a phantom, like an infrared or a phantom planet.
Infrared makes a ton of sense. That's like the light in the dark, and then it's like our opposite, the twin, right? The twin of the
Mhm.
darkness or something. Wow, that's interesting. And you see, it makes the owl. Want to show also where the magnet actually makes that field though. When right here, here's a good one. So, do you still have that video? Is that what you're talking about? Where the guy puts what are these
I
things
don't.
called?
I looked for it. I'd have to find it. I
Yeah, we
can't
did a
find.
show a long time back, probably the one that we just showed there. But
Yeah,
when you put the magnet under these little things, it'll make basically the eye. You see the owl eyes, so the owls have a lot of symbolism, but that's also kind of like hiding in the plain sight. So owls represent wisdom. Some even too, like say extraterrestrials, like the owls. The baby owl. There's certain baby owls that literally look like gray aliens when you see them. But there's the owl face and the magnetism. Again, the secrets of the universe they've kept from us. So they worship the owl, and then they invert everything. So I just want to show some of those images, and then this is like another one that was looking at the beginning. This one's a little complicated for me. Do you want to explain this, or should we leave this one alone? This looks a little bit too complicated.
It's the same thing, but it's too complicated.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Right,
I
now,
I don't understand that. I mean, I'd have to go
there's a lot going on
like
there.
thinking
There's a
about
lot
that
going
for a
on.
little bit.
Oh, let me read this about here though. Al family Rothschilds. Al wisdom and knowledge. I said that wisdom and knowledge, hidden knowledge of our magnetic universe. That's the same thing. The electrostatic magnetic universe, right? Everything has a charge. Everything, and that's I think what even Tesla's saying. The firmament is like the charge and connection. It's literally an electrical connection. Side view of the magnet under a ferrocell, showing the side view of the toroidal magnetic field, which is the owl eyes that we're seeing. One pole is on the left, the other pole is on the right. The poles look like eyes of an owl's face. There's a vortex at both poles of the magnet going to the center like a bathtub drain, tornado. Yeah. Regardless of the shape of the magnet, the field geometry doesn't change. It's always a torus, which is like that donut thing, from the micro atom to the macro galaxies. Also, if we look at that, when we look at really small things, it's mimicked in really big things. That's again back to the idea of this mass, like the universe, which is what I believe. And then you see the planets are like, are electrons going around the nucleus, et cetera, et cetera. Galaxies have poles, atoms have poles, water molecules have poles. Your body is mostly water. God's elements of creation are much simpler than they tell us. Occult cabal controlled science is lying to us about how magnetism works and what it is. Because if you understand magnetism, that's free energy. Always, like that's the anti-gravitic technology, because it's really, and that's where people, we don't understand gravity, or it is. That's been kept from us too. What's that? Nassim Harriman. Awesome. Love him. Nassim Harriman. He does a really good job too of explaining like gravity, and he's saying there's more weight in like one electron than like all the way of the universe, and
I
that makes
love
it
Nassim.
all within itself.
If you don't know who he is, go check him out. We'll have to do a show with him. He's so funny.
Let me show what he looks. He is funny. He's witty, and he's got a great story.
And he's incredibly like energetically tapped in.
Yes, and he's because he was self-taught too.
Yeah, he was the mad scientist that stayed in a van so that he could study, because most of them get grants or whatever, and then they have to study certain things, and they can't report the way that they want to.
Right.
So yeah.
Let me just play this just for a second so you guys see. I'm going to play like 30 seconds. Oh, my gosh.
For so long, and I'm finally coming out. We have so much exciting stuff happening. So much has happened in the last year and a half, and the theory and the theoretical work and the technology.
Anyways, he's freaking awesome, guys. Again, this is how you spell his name. Nassim, Nassim, Haramein, Haramein, understanding science from a unified field. I guess got great work. He's funny, like he presents it in ways that make sense. He's super chill. So check him out if you get a chance.
He has a theory called the theory of everything. And he has a mathematical equation that he found, and I don't understand how he did it, but I love him.
I'm not going to regular school and wasting his time on dumb shit.
He created a university actually during COVID, and everybody could go for free.
Oh, wow. That's freaking awesome.
I love him. Oh, and I asked him a question about monoatomic gold, and I stumped him.
Where did you ask him that?
And Well, because I was, I was going to free school,
Oh,
and
okay.
he would do like he would come in and ask, like do like speaks and stuff, and so I asked my little question about it, about the pyramids and monatomic gold, and he goes, some of these questions are very in depth and take some time.
We only have 5 hours. We don't have 17 hours, Mel. Sorry, I'm gonna have to pass on that one.
Damn, next time. I love him.
So this episode that Mel shared, where can we put this for other people? Can we put the link to
This
this?
is on Rumble. If you want to put it on Q School, or should we put it into the show?
Put this link in the chat, at least for Rumble. Put that in the chat. I'll put this link in the. I guess I can't click the links in Instagram. I'll still put it over there in case somebody's still listening on Instagram. Here's a link to one of our old shows on Rumble. If you're into the quantum mechanics type stuff, it's one of our earlier shows. We were actually under a bigger channel though, so we're under a big channel back then, and we got like some of them like 20, 30,000 views in one day. So Mel and I, and Mel especially, has worked on some bigger shows here. We're working our way to get back up there. It's funny looking at us both there where we were. You were in the car. I was back at family's home after my house got burned down. It was probably a couple months out too, but we went and rocked it, rolled it. That was cool. Good job. Okay, so
back in here. Okay, never mind.
Anything else we need to share? What's this Instagram thing? Oh, what was this about? You want me to maybe play this?
Yeah, on the bottom.
What is this image thing you sent?
They're the same thing. I just didn't.
Oh, okay, same thing. So I'm going to close this. Hold on. What'd I do? What'd I do? Oh, I killed the wrong tab. Oops. Oh, shit. I wiped out my freaking web. And then let's wrap it up, okay? So get maybe a little short video too, and let's wrap it up. It's getting late. I'm tired.
Yep, I am too.
Where we at? It's at the bottom still. Okay. Instagram. Oh, I need to share my screen. Okay.
Got a nice stable frequency and amplitude to get some consistent rotation on these. Look at that. It's just a piece of hematite.
Okay, so what we're looking at here, Mel?
Oh, that's a Joshua coil.
Okay, so this is the flower of life. What's this one called?
This is called the Joshua coil, and that's what we were looking at.
The Joshua coil. But what's this shape we were just looking at? What's this one called again? Or do you not know?
That one's called a Joshua coil.
God, dude.
I don't know what you're saying. That's a Joshua coil, and then the other one.
Coil, the shape. We just were looking at this image for like 20 minutes. A bunch of retards. We're getting tired. Right here. The external life lotus. The eternal life lotus, real flower of life. Real flower of life is this shape. Now that object we're looking at that it's sitting on is the Joshua coil, is what that's called. But it's showing the real full 3-dimensional toroidal, that donut shaped thing. That's not toroidal. What's that one called? But eternal life lotus, real flower of life. That's what that. Anyways, so let me go back to this little video here. Share this tab, and you see now there's that. If you're looking at it from above, it's that eternal flower of life, but it's in this toroidal, the donut shaped kind of.
And the amazing Josh.
And then I guess it's creating its own magnetic field, which then itself, that's free energy. And that's really how some of our even military stuff is already being used. These helicopters are free energy helicopters. Once you start the blade could just have magnets on the tips of it, and then you turn on a magnet right near it, and it's going to always just force the blade. And once you get it started, you have free energy because the blades are forever spinning without any fuel. They're just using magnets to spin. It's really simple concept, right? That's why they didn't want us to know about magnetism, because it's free energy. It's everything. It's our understanding our world and physics. So I think that's good enough to share on that one. So let's close it up here, Mel, with a little closing video. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We got quite a few people with us in the middle of the night. Maybe if you're all still on Rumble, make a comment. We'll see it. Let us know what part of the country you're from. Y'all night owls out here in the United States, or y'all the way across, maybe in Europe, or maybe Australia is not too late just yet in Australia, but you're a day ahead. Love that stuff.
Do you remember that thing that we showed, that one where it was called a thermal thing, where she was like,
oh yeah, I don't remember what it's called. It's a box. It's a box that you play with your hands, because it essentially is using its own vibration, but then it tunes to your body. It's something kind of box. I don't know if I
Let me
see
see if I can find it.
White Sky Cloud is in here. He would maybe know if you're in here. White Sky. Anybody know? We ended the show. Yeah, that'd be cool to play that to end it. So it's a box that plays. It's just something. It's a something box, musical instrument that you play with your hand without touching it. Your frequency. That should be plenty to look up for people, right? That should be enough. Let the horses to water. See if we can get some diggers in here so we can wrap it up. That'd be a cool video to end on. We ended one of those
There's
shows on.
song lines I did with.
Soundbox. Theremin?
That's it. I think I might find no. That's it.
So let's go to YouTube. Theremin.
How do you spell it?
There and then min, M-I-N, T-H-E-R-E, and then M-I-N. I'm not seeing the one at the concert. There's ladies playing it like in their house. We could still show. Not seeing the concert one. Oh, Interstellar. This looks fun. I'm gonna do this one. Yeah, this will be cool. So let's do our sign off here. We can get a chance to talk about any other things, but we'll just do that next time. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We're on Rumble, X, Facebook. Even got Mel's YouTube. There's been some people watching again.
Let's just pull it up real quick here. So this isn't the right one here though.
Oh, so bottom, and then I could share this
QR codes. Where are we? We're in the wrong folder. That's why I'm not finding it. Okay, pull it on up. Okay, here are QR codes. It's here. Oh yeah, it is the right one. Okay, so here's our lovely Kyle.
So we're gonna keep doing more shows, gonna keep showing up, different things like that, and while we're living in the world and whatnot, we're gonna keep. So if y'all bring some value to it, we're gonna have T-shirts, other swag too. But if you want to just help us out, donate directly to us. Here's some of our ones. So the other one that was just shared, there's Cash App. I got Venmo and PayPal. So Mel's gonna show the QR codes. So if you're on a computer, you can show your phone on there. But I'm at White Hat Kyle on all of those. I think we have one of those lower thirds for that, don't we, Mel?
Yep.
I can't even click it right now. What's going on?
I'm looking for it.
That's just weird though. I can't click it. So, but at White Hat Kyle, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, you want to donate, even just $1.70, whatever. We'll start using that to get more stuff for the show. Then we can start, also helping other people, leave their workplace to bring more. Thank you. We go at White Hat Kyle. Any donations, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Thanks anyways for listening though. If y'all appreciate it. Also, you can just share our channels, hit like while you're down there, wherever you are, hit like, make some comments for us. We appreciate y'all. Keep going every day. Boots on the ground. Telegram is where kind of our main meeting point. I'm at Undercover Whitehead on Instagram. Lots of memes and all that stuff, and connected with the Anon. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Appreciate you. We're on Rumble. Here's the memesies. Okay, hammertime.printify.me is the site to find. We should always put that link though in the Rumble chat so people can click it. But you can also do the QR code for these different T-shirts, mugs, stickers, and stuff that also support us as well. So lots of different options. We kind of jammed through that.
It in there, but it didn't somehow populate. Maybe we were having trouble with connections earlier.
Yeah, we've having all this weird technology, so it's been going on for a while, but it's all
we're
good.
We're in Mercury retrograde, so
we covered a lot, and it's getting pretty late, so let's we'll wrap her up, and we'll be back. We'll be back for more. So thank you guys for supporting us. We appreciate you. Thank you everyone for all the digs in their Rumble over on Instagram. I think you helped out. Apex had some great digs on the Instagram side. It's kind of interesting having good diggers on Instagram and Rumble. I got to bounce back and forth a little bit, but we got some really good stuff. Also, too, if you're interested in maybe helping us too, maybe on the back end, some people that could read the comments for us, because we used to do Q School and Telegram voice chats, and everybody could come on the mic and share the digs, but we got to use the Restream here so we can get us out to Rumble and all these places. But we can have other people in the background here that do some of these things that we need, either like on the research board or watching the chats, because when we're really digging and diving and we're looking for other things, we can't see the chat so much. So all this stuff will help. So if y'all want to be part of something awesome, we've been doing this a while and catching the momentum, and things are going, and the Q drops are lining up, and everything's about to happen. So we're here to help wake up humanity. We're going to inspire people. A big part of Mel and I's mission too is just like Michael Tellinger is the Ubuntu movement. This is like finding our humanity with unity. Also, it's bringing in like-minded people, starting societies, essentially collectives. We're not supposed to be in these big, huge cities. We're supposed to be in like 150 people kind of thing, but it's not going to be like Stone Age stuff. We're going to have like free energy technology and like be outdoors and have the how things are supposed to be, organic food, tons of, we're using the electroculture to make massive amounts of food and big old nugs of the ooey gooey if we needed to out there while we're doing our thing. But the point is we want to do a lot more meetups too.
Taking a nap.
Taking a nap, naked in the garden if you want, just butt ass naked.
Right.
But no, it's an important part is the uniting and also finding like-minded friends. So I encourage you, I dare you all right now to try to put a Craigslist ad or go on Facebook Marketplace and ask.
Go to the dog park.
A Q meeting, yeah, go to the dog park or ask those questions, right? Bigfoot was a good one. I always like to ask people Bigfoot if they question if I can get there. If you've done this a long time, you can start progressing conversations farther with a new person, like see what they can handle. And as soon as they get there, I would bring up Bigfoot or let's say Q in this instance, but try to put a little ad out, or not an ad, or just a free thing on Craigslist or Facebook. See if there's somebody in the area you might not even know they're into Q or something too, and 2 or 3 people to get together, you'll be like activated, like, oh my God, this is cool. And then the group can grow. But Mel and I are going to have like campouts, cookouts, or retreats and stuff too, where we have gatherings, and we're going to even do like a Q school on like a big, projector screen.
And we might even do some conferences online.
Okay, and yes, we're in conference online, and we'll talk about in the future too some being part of some American-made products too, where we can take down these box chains like Amazon and stuff by supporting American products and stuff that ship right to your door for cheaper than Walmart. You don't got to deal with all the Walmart creatures. We got lots of stuff on tap here, so we appreciate y'all staying with us and helping us along the way, and we'll help you grow and keep teaching you what we know, and then we're all in this together. So it's been quite a journey.
Thanks for joining us on our first episode of Sasquatch.
First episode, finally, first official one. All right. So I'm going to play this lady doing Interstellar on the soundbox. So any last words?
No, thank you guys, everybody, for showing up with us
guys.
tonight.
We love y'all. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Enjoy this theremin soundbox goofy thing. It's pretty cool though, and she's gonna play Interstellar. I have a feeling this is gonna be good. I haven't watched this yet, so we're right on the spot. It's gonna be good though. I know it. I just know it. out, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Get some rest. We love you all. Where we go one, we go all. Never ever give up. Never stop fighting.